It is finally time for the update tour of the Elm Hill City Zoo. Today I will show you the entire zoo, all the enclosures, buildings and the backstage areas. And we'll also talk about my future plans for this series. So, let me be your guide and let's see the entire Elm Hill City Zoo. Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the Elm Hill City Zoo. We are here in front of the main entrance to the zoo and I am about to show you the entire zoo. We'll see all the habitats, we'll go into all the backstage areas and to all the buildings and yeah, I just cannot wait for this. I am so excited because I know that this video has been requested by so many of you and I just cannot wait to show you the entire zoo. So this is the main entrance. I created the entrance in the first episode, but it was actually rebuilt by the other creator named Zoe, who just simply took what I did for the first episode and made it look more realistic and simply nicer. I just love the main entrance. It is inspired by the Berlin Zoo, by one of the entrances to that zoo. On the left hand side we also have the parking lot for the guests, and on the right hand side we have like the stands for the bicycles. We have there is in the back there is another parking lot for the workers, but we are about to see it all later. I just want to go into the zoo and show you the habitats and stuff, not to bore you with the parking lots. So just for the new people maybe here, I just wanted to tell you that this zoo is not finished by any means. This is just an update tour to show you how the zoo is growing, how it is developing, and where the habitats are actually located in the zoo, because I know that sometimes it can be a bit confusing. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you about, because you are about to see a lot of unfinished bits of the zoo and empty spaces, so just to clarify this. We are here on the main plaza of the zoo, and here is actually a gift shop, and this is a gift shop that was actually, I think, the second episode of the Elm Hill City Zoo series, and I started to build this zoo over almost 4 years ago. So just to keep that in mind, because you will see that there were no too many pieces that we have right now in the game, just as for example the souvenir pieces. We didn't have all those plushies and all those things, so we had to improvise a bit. So I used a lot of just in-game things that you can potentially buy in here, but also those plushies from the workshop that were, I think, created by a creator called Keyboard Keeper. But yeah, this is like a typical zoo gift shop. It is actually functional because the guests can go in here and buy things in those counters. But yeah, this is what I created back then, and I once want to go in here and recreate this, like add those new things, but as I told you in so many of those Elm Hill City Zoo videos, I firstly want to build the habitats in the zoo just to save the SPF for, not the SPF, but yeah, it is quite a sunny day, but we definitely need some SPF, but I want to save the FPS for things like habitats and animal buildings, and then go back and add some guest facilities and improve the ones that we created at the very beginning of this series, just as this restaurant that was actually the third episode. So this is like a food hall concept or anything, so you just go in, grab your plate, and you can take some food of your choice from this buffet, or you can order something in here and just take it with you. And after you decided what you want, there's also drinks, you just go here to the cashier and you pay for everything, and then you can sit here and eat this. As you guys can see, this is also very basic. We didn't have too many pieces back then that I now use all the time, and I wasn't as good as of a builder as I am right now, simply. So this is a bit more basic, but yeah, this is something that I want to improve in the future for sure. So there's there's also a trash in here, and in the back there's a toilet for the guests, and this is our restaurant next to the entrance. What we also have on the main plaza is the education center. So this education center is inspired by a theater, I think, in Austria, if I remember it correctly. And while Zooey was redesigning the whole entrance, he decided to elevate this building a bit, and I think it looks so good right now. I really like this facade in here, and I think that it pops so much more because it is like a centerpiece of the entire main plaza. What I also wanted to do is to add some details to this plaza later on for like a founder or anything, but this is something that we'll do later. Also, what I forgot to mention is that we won't only have a tour in this video, but what I also will do is share with you my plans for this series at the very end of the video. So I will tell you about the sections that we are about to build in this zoo, and I will also share with you the list of all the animals that I still want to add in here, because I have so many questions always about my plans about the animals that I want to add. So there will be everything revealed at the end of the video. Okay, we are in the education center, and in here we have all this like a display or exhibition of the posters that I actually created myself. This is the posters about the adoption of the animals in the Elm Hill City Zoo, but most of them are about the conservation, about global warming, about very important things for our nature and animals, like deforestation, because this is the main purpose of the education centers in zoos, just to educate people about not only fun facts about the animals, but also about their issues and what they can do to prevent them from going extinct. For example, not taking part in the Chinese medicine trade or anything because it doesn't work, or just not to buy fur or bags made out of the crocodile skin because this is just cruel. But yeah, what is also here is the animal adoption like booth. So in here you can actually adopt an animal in the zoo, and you can simply do some stuff like our sponsors in the Elm Hill City Zoo do. So actually, if some of you guys who are sponsors would do it in the real life, you will do here, of course, in our mini series of the Elm Hill City Zoo. You are dealing all those with me, but normally you will just do it. I'm just rambling right now. Okay, so here is the lecture hall. The lecture hall is a place where, for example, the organized school trips or I don't know, business trips could book a lecture in here with the educator. So here we have like a little classroom with the blackboard. We have some books, and the educator would just stand here and give a lecture. And then from here we actually have a really cool view inside of one of the newest enclosures, the dromedary camel enclosure that we created not long ago. If I would be just attending this lecture, I think I would be just sitting here and staring at the camels, not listening, but yeah. We also have the little, I think, yeah, backstage area in here with the printer and like a coffee place for the workers so they can make some coffee for them and stuff. Okay, so let's go out. We actually had a little sneak peek of the dromedary camel enclosure, so why not just take this shortcut here and see this enclosure. So this is the enclosure that we actually built not long ago, and if you've watched the previous tour that was on my channel quite some time ago, previously in this place we had the red kangaroos, but I thought that they just don't belong in here because right now we have this whole Australian section in the zoo, and I don't really think that the kangaroos are the entrance animals, so I decided to change that. This is like part of our little recreation series in the zoo, and we recreated the camel or the kangaroo exhibit into a camel exhibit, and I just love how it looks, and I really love that you can actually right now see the sneak peek of the rhino and elephant house that is in the back. So what I wanted to achieve here is this look of the like desert-inspired habitat, but in the temperate climate. So sometimes you see this in the European zoos that there's this clearly like a desert animal, and they just added a lot of sand into this enclosure, but still there is this temperate foliage in here. So we have temperate, like for example, pines or different trees or grasses, and this is how this looks. And I really love this look of this enclosure. I also really like this viewing terrace that we created. We will go to the shelter later during the tour, but yeah, this is how the enclosure for the Bactrian camels look. Okay, we'll just pause the game. I'm pausing the game for the better like experience, so it is not so laggy. The zoo is quite big, so unfortunately with a lot of animals in there, it is quite laggy. Last time we started the tour by going this way, but I thought that during this one we'll actually start the tour from this side, because not far from here is the reptile house that we completed in the last episode. So you guys are probably wondering how it looks and would like to see it right now, so we will go there first. We are about to see some enclosures on our way, but the reptile house is coming quite soon. And also what I wanted to mention about the animals in the zoo, as you guys probably remember, I had to delete or sell most of the animals from the zoo because of the performance, but in here of course I brought them back for the whole tour. You are about to see the animals in the enclosures, but I will do some cuts. You won't experience that at all, but for, you know, just putting the animals inside of the several enclosures, we'll tour them, then I will stop, sell the animals and add them to the next enclosures, and so on and so forth. But just to tell you that there will be some cuts during this tour for me just doing this. Okay, if you watched the previous episode, you probably don't remember this building in here, just because it is totally new. This is a new building for the seals. We have a seal enclosure just behind this, and this was the first enclosure that we've built for the zoo, and the enclosure that the first that I actually recreated. So we've built this not long ago actually, and this is the whole backstage area for our seals. I'll try to go in without being, yeah, okay, we managed without, you know, being just teleported into the roof, because I know that it can happen in here. Okay, so this is the backstage for the seals. We of course have some holding pens for them. We have this place where they will be swimming inside of here, and also like a food preparation station and some sink, and also some tools for the keepers and the fridge, and just typical backstage stuff. We are about to see or can actually see the seal in there, but we are about to see the enclosure a bit later. Okay, let's move on right now. Here's like a little backstage area for the trolley, so they can go up there, or some wheelbarrows and stuff. Okay, so this is the building that we also created at the beginning of the series, but I still really like it. This is the management building, so we have all the important people in the zoo working here. So let's go in. There are some offices. I basically used it to hide all of those staff buildings that you need to have in your zoos to make them functional, but yeah, we are just thinking of them as offices or something. Here's a small kitchen for the workers so they can eat their lunch during their work hours, and upstairs we actually have some more desks. This is for example, I don't know, the accountancy or anything. And in here we have the most important room in the entire zoo, because it is a room of our zoo director. So he has his desk in here, as you guys can see, his computer, and here are the very important meetings held during the future of our zoo, or for example, new habitats and stuff. Teamwork makes the dream work. I think I took it from the workshop. It is true, of course. Unfortunately, I'm building the zoo alone, so there's not much teamwork, but yeah, this is a very true statement. Okay, so let's go out of the building and see more animals. I created this little like monument, or this little plaza while building the seals, and this is here because in the back we have actually the reindeer enclosure that we also created a long time ago, and here is the reindeer statue. I just thought that adding those statues is so nice, and I often forget about them, so I really wanted to add something in here. Okay, and as I told you just a second ago, here we have the reindeer enclosure. I don't really know where they are. Oh, here's one sleeping actually in there, I think. So this is definitely a simpler enclosure. We didn't have things like a buffalo grass that I use right now all the time. Is the game paused? No, it's not. So maybe they'll be moving in a second, or someone will arrive in here. So we didn't have a lot of those small pebbles or anything, so this is what I was able to create back then. And this is maybe not the enclosure that I want to recreate, because I also want to share with you guys those plans for recreations during the tours and the tour and so on. This is an enclosure that I will probably just enhance by adding some details to it, like decals, grasses, or anything. But the overall look of it will stay. Maybe I'll just change the shelter a bit, but this is something that we are saving for the future. So we have the reindeers in here. I think I actually have an albino reindeer in here, which is so cool, because it is in Sandbox Zoo, and as you guys know, in Sandbox it is quite hard to get those albino animals, or animals in those different colors. Okay, so this is the reindeers. We'll go back there in the later stage of the tour. But in here we also have a toilet for the guests, so nothing too crazy, just a toilet. I thought that it is important to place them in several places in the zoo. There's also a little stuff for the zookeepers, like their lockers or anything, but it's nothing too important. Okay, and here is the enclosure that I actually plan to completely destroy and rebuild totally and add a different animal in here, or maybe not an animal or another stuff building or anything, because I have totally different plans for the llamas that are in here. So I really want to add the llamas to the petting zoo that we started to build some time ago. I also really don't like this enclosure. I think it is so plain and boring and nothing too special. It has this mode that I thought was so revolutionary back then when I was building those enclosures, but right now I think it is too small for those animals. I'm not a huge fan of this shelter. What we can actually do is go inside of this shelter. Why not? I promised you to show you everything, so we'll just take this shortcut in here. But yeah, this is definitely an enclosure that I want to recreate completely in the future. I don't know what we'll add in here. Maybe a new animal that will be added in the new DLC. We'll see. But we have stalls in here. This was the first time for me, I think I was building something like this, so it felt so revolutionary back then. I remember that when I started my channel, doing backstage stuff wasn't so popular on YouTube, so I felt like I am doing something so groundbreaking, but it is right now. It looks so easy, so simple, and so I would just add tons of decals, but also details in here, and also do something about this roof because it is ceiling, because it is just hideous. But yeah, let's continue our little trip by going here. So yeah, here are the llamas, but as I told you guys, don't pay too much attention to this because it will be all rebuilt and the llamas will be moved to the petting zoos. Maybe I will just place them with the alpacas in one of the enclosures. Okay, so right now we can actually see maybe first the babirusas that are in here. So here is the little babirusa enclosure that I added also at the very beginning of the whole series, but I really like this enclosure. I started to use a lot of those aquatic rocks, and I also wanted to build a big water section for them and a lot of those mud things. So yeah, the babirusa is a very unique animal. At first I wasn't enjoying it too much, but then when I saw it in zoos and during my trips and so on, I now just love it so much. Another enclosure that I don't want to recreate, but maybe adding some details to it would be nice, but decals, grasses, and so on. We can actually go inside of the shelter for the babirusas. So yeah, nothing too special again. I just imagine that those could be closed and stuff, but yeah, for those times back then, it was quite something. And also we have a holding pen in here for them. So yeah, oh, we have a mail in here actually. Okay, so let's go back, because on the other hand side, okay, I also used to create the information boards like this. Now I just simply don't have a time and patience to do that. Okay, this is the whole backstage area for some ungulates that we have in here. This is the shelter for the reindeers that we already saw. So here are our reindeers and a little backstage like holding pen for them in here. This is the backstage for the Bakshan camels that we are about to see. And if we'll go in here, there's actually one building for the Bakshan camels. They are here. This is their stalls and a big like area for them to just sleep in. And on the other hand side, we have an animal that we are about to see. This is the pronghorn antelope. Oh, there's actually a male in here. So I didn't realize actually that I was always telling you that the Elm Hill City Zoo is so special because we have the platypus in here. And if you guys are interested in zoos, you probably know that the only zoo outside of the Australia that houses the platypus is the San Diego Safari Park that is in San Diego, basically in the United States. And this zoo is meant to be in Europe, and there are no European zoos that have a platypus. But it appears that one of you also left me a comment recently that the Elm Hill City Zoo is also really special because pronghorn antelopes are not present in any European zoos, so we are also very special, and they are also not very common in zoos in general. They are of course in some of the US zoos, but this is basically all. But yeah, we have the pronghorn antelopes in here. It is quite a cool but simple enclosure, nothing too special. They have like this shading structure in here and the shelter in the back. Also the enclosure that I don't want to recreate, but maybe add some details to it. If we'll go in here, we actually have another viewing opportunity for them. I really like that I added some like elevation for them, that it is not so flat and stuff, because it is so important for the animals. Okay, and this was our pronghorn antelope. Look at the shine. I was really going for those things back then. Okay, so let's now see our first animal building. This is the insect house, and we created the insect house quite a long time ago, and later when the Grasslands Animal Pack was added with the butterflies, we added to it this butterfly greenhouse that I love so much. This is one of my favorite things about the entire Elm Hill City Zoo, and I cannot wait to go inside of this because I love this building so much. But yeah, let's firstly go and see the insect house with all the different insects, spiders and stuff. Okay, so here we have like a main hall, and we have two different sides, and this one is dedicated to insects. We have implied ant tanks. In here in this main hall we actually have a scorpions, so we have the desert scorpion in here, and we have the tropical one. I don't really know how it is called, but yeah, imagine trying to find them in here. Oh, here it is. We are so lucky. We actually can see two of them. Okay, and here are the insects. So what I tried to do is simply make those huge boxes a bit smaller by doing those windows. We can actually imagine that those are different enclosures for those animals from those insects, but because of this it is even harder to find them, but I am sure that they are somewhere in here. So we have all of those here, and we also have some info signs about different insects that live on our planet, insects of the world stuff. And on the other hand side, we of course have like a butterfly things. Why there's an albine ibex info sign here? Okay, this is quite a mystery. But yeah, here are all the spiders that are available in Planet Zoo if you are sensitive to those. I don't think that we are about to see them because they are probably hidden somewhere. But yeah, we definitely have spiders in Elm Hill City Zoo as well, and some info signs about spiders. But let's move on to the butterfly greenhouse that we are about to see. So here is something that I also really like. This is the insect garden that we created. This was something inspired by a lot of parks that I walked to with my dog or something. So sometimes you have those like meadows that were planted by us, by humans, just for the insects to just for the refuge, to give them food, just to give them space for them, because they have quite a hard time, especially in the cities. And here we have like this European peacock enclosure that is hidden inside of this. We can actually see the butterflies. The European peacock is of course, European butterfly that I thought it would be so nice to just see flying inside of our zoo, because it is its natural habitat, so it could definitely be living somewhere in here. So we have this walkthrough exhibit like hidden in here. You can actually see this butterfly in there. But yeah, I really love this. I added those implied little paths in here just to hide this enclosure better. It's basically in here, but you cannot really see it if you add the invisible walls to it. Okay, so here's the entrance to the butterfly greenhouse, and I just love this building so much. As you guys can clearly see, this is one of the more recent builds, so this is something that's basically is more of my alley right now, of my level of detail that I'm building right now, not, for example, the pronghorn or the reindeer exhibit that you saw a minute ago. So this is all the butterflies that we have in this building. And here we have the first plaque of our sponsor, Meru. If I am pronouncing this correctly, thank you so much for sponsoring this enclosure, this greenhouse. This means a world, and yeah, I cannot wait to show you all the plaques that are in the zoo, but this is sponsored by Meru, so thank you so much. Okay, so this is the greenhouse for the butterflies. We have a lot of them in here, and this is like an exotic building with a lot of exotic plants, like a very tropical vibes. I love those like walls that we created here, like overgrown with different plants. And I love the flying butterflies everywhere here. They're of course sitting on all those on those flowers, on those little huts that they have in here. And yeah, I have the whole sprinkler system in here. A lot of the cables and stuff. I really thought about, how the water would go there. So we have those little pipes. Also those things made by Shift C. Amazing pieces. I always love to add them for some implied realism. And yeah, we have some lights in here with some cables. I really love this building. Okay, so here is the exit, but in here we also have this chrysalis display. So those are basically those cocoons, or just simply chrysalis that the butterflies are just hatching from, and then they are just moved inside of this greenhouse. So really cool stuff. The guests can also donate here to save the insects. There are so many endangered species of insects. This is such a severe problem, so it is so important to actually donate to causes like this, so that we can save those lovely animals. Okay, and here we also have like a bee garden. Those beehives were made by Haribo, I think. But I also think that thought that adding something like this would be so nice. And we have those info signs that are actually in the game, so we can add them in here. And yeah, I really love this detail. Okay, but moving on, we are about to see this. This is the reptile house. Finally, my favorite building in this entire zoo. I love this so much. This was so much work, but I think it was so worth it, because just look at this. This is probably my best work in Planet Zoo. I think it looks very realistic. I think it looks so nice. And yeah, it was so much work, but I just love all of the details on this facade of the building. I also love this little display of the reptiles in here. And yeah, in here we have a big empty space. This is something that I will talk more about in the planning session by the end, but here is basically a place left for the whole Komodo dragon facility that I am about to build, because I know that a lot of you were concerned that we are not adding the Komodo dragon to this building, but don't worry, because it will still be included. It will just have its own building in here that I am about to build. Okay, we will take this path later, but now let's just go inside of our reptile house. So to go in, we need to take this bridge over this little pond or water section. Some of you suggested to add here swans. I actually think that this is a really nice idea. Maybe I will add them eventually in here. Some of you also suggested that it can be used for small turtles. Also really nice idea, but I would have to fence this off a little bit better because they could simply run away and we don't want that. But yeah, why not? Maybe I will add like some there's definitely some workshop turtles in the game, so we can sort of do the implied thing. Okay, so let's go inside of the reptile house. Finally finished reptile house that we actually created in the last episode of the Elm Hill City Zoo. So here's the cafe that I did, so the guests can grab something to drink, an ice cream, a coffee, and here sit here with a nice view for this little lake that we have in here, and just enjoy their time in the zoo. In here we have, this is basically the reptile floor, so we have different reptiles in here. This is the Asian water monitor that is enjoying its time in this little water section. I really love this enclosure. It was the first one that we added in here, and it sort of set the tone for the entire reptile house, so it was very important, and I was so happy with how it has turned out, and I really liked it up to this day. Also, all those details in here, I am so glad that I added it, because it looks so much realistic with this. On the other hand side, we have the last reptile that we added. This is the Nile monitor with a slightly more deserty looking enclosure inspired by its natural habitat. They also have, of course, the water section and this little cave for them to just bask in and stuff. Okay, let's move on, because we are about to see really nice things. We are about to see the Crocodile River. So in here we have our first crocodilian. This is the Gharial. I actually want to slightly change the time of the day so the lighting is a bit better. But yeah, just look at this. This is very inspired by Berlin Zoo and by their Crocodile River inside of the reptile house. I just really love this building. And the reptile house in the Berlin Zoo, and I wanted to build something like this. Maybe let's go firstly in here to show you the enclosures. So this is basically, I knew that this would be happening. So maybe I would try to, no, okay, let me pause the game and go back to the place. Okay, we are all good now. So how it works is that the water sections of different crocodilian enclosures are connected, but they are, of course, they're smashed, so they cannot swim to each other. And yeah, they have those really tropical, overgrown, foresty, like enclosures with this glass roof, like the sort of like a greenhouse. And I think that it just looks so good. One of my favorite places in the Elm Hill City Zoo for sure. So in here we have the Gharials, and on the other hand side we have the saltwater crocodile that is also enjoying its water section. So the Gharials have their water section on the left hand side or on the right, depending on how you look. This one has it in the middle, and then the alligators that are in here have it on this side, so this is sort of like curving a bit. I also thought that this is a really nice way of making them look a bit different from one another. But yeah, this is the saltwater crocodile. Again, the Elm Hill City Zoo is a bit unique because those are not very common in zoos in Europe. Some of them have them, but they are not very often kept in Europe. but again, really overgrown. I love those riverbanks that we created. This is definitely not good when it comes to the Planet Zoo requirements, but I think that realistically this just works for an animal like this. It is even big compared to some of the enclosures for the crocodilians that I saw in zoos. Okay, we have the second floor of this building. It is for the amphibians, but we are about to see it later, I think. We also have an elevator. By the way, thank you so much for all the amazing comments under the video. You guys really loved the reptile house, and I am so happy about this because it took me so long to build. Okay, so here we have all the exhibit boxes. As you guys can see, here is, for example, the Gila monster, and what I wanted to achieve is something that they have in the Berlin Zoo as well. So you can see through all of those exhibits, but there's like this frosted glass in the bottom of the exhibit, so that the reptiles just cannot see each other, so they are not stressed by their presence. Maybe they can see each other when they are up there, but this is not next to the glass like directly, so they cannot attack each other through the glass or anything. But this makes it a bit like look a bit more bigger, like visually. So this is something that I just wanted to recreate. This is a blue-tongued king, for example. In here we have basically all the desert reptiles living next to each other. We have some snakes and stuff. But yeah, here's another look for the saltwater crocodile. Here are the vipers, for example. Oh, looking amazing in here. Here is another bridge that we are to see. So yeah, another look for the saltwater crocodile. And on the other hand side is probably my favorite of all the enclosure because it has this like really cool waterfall in here. This is the enclosure for the alligators. We have 3 of them, as you guys can see. They have this little den in here with the heat lamp, and yeah, really cool overgrown enclosure that I really love. The foliage in Planet Zoo is so amazing, especially this like tropical one. I don't use it a lot in the Elm Hill City Zoo because it's a temperate zoo, but whenever I have a chance, I just really love to build stuff like this. Okay, so let's continue in here because there are still some like deserty enclosures, but in here you can see there's not a glass anymore because we are moving more into the tropical section. Here we have the boa constrictor somewhere. I don't know, it is hiding. Oh, here it is. We also have the yellow anaconda that is in there, as you guys can see. And also I did something that I saw many people do, just giving those lesser Antillean iguanas a bigger enclosure. So I created the second part myself. We just have to imagine that there's no glass in here because I think that this exhibit box is a bit too small for them, so I just wanted to expand their little enclosure and make it look a bit bigger. But yeah, we have the lesser Antillean iguanas, such an amazing lizard. Unfortunately, it is critically endangered, and I'm really hopeful that we will be able to save them. But yeah, here's also another look for the alligator enclosure. Here are some info signs, very inspired by Berlin Zoo again. Here's some like custom signs that I did. And here is the indoor part of the Galapagos tortoise enclosure. So they have the indoor part and the outdoor part as the only reptile from the whole entire reptile house. I just thought that often they are kept outside in the European zoos during the warmer months, of course, but they still can have this indoor enclosure for the winter. With everything that they need. So they have a little water section, they have quite a lot of space, but yeah, their indoor area is of course bigger. The outdoor area is of course bigger and so nice, but we are about to see it later. Okay, so here is also the view for all of the enclosures in the Crocodile River, and we have another look for the alligators. This view from here is my most liked Insta post I think that I ever posted in my Instagram. I think it has like almost like 2,000 likes or anything, so thank you guys so much for this. I also love this view, it looks amazing. But yeah, here we of course have more of those, so I thought that adding more tortoises next to the giant tortoise just makes sense. So we have the Herman's tortoise in here, in this lovely small enclosure. And then here we have more crocodilians. We have quite a lot of them in the game, so not all of them could fit in this river. The smaller ones have their own enclosures that I also really like. So this is the spectacled caiman enclosure that has this really cool, like, if you will just, you know, bend or anything, you can sort of see them diving. But yeah, here are two of them. They have quite a lot of like space for a zoo standard, maybe not Planet Zoo, but I think that this is quite big for the pair of those crocodilians. We also have a terrapin enclosure in here, so they should be. Oh, here's one. Hello. It is just chilling. Okay, and yeah, here's also some information about the. Of course, the conservation issues of the animals. And here we have the little dwarf caiman from the Aquatic pack. I really love those mushrooms. This view is also so nice. And this enclosure also has a sponsor. So Brandon Arnold, thank you so much for sponsoring this enclosure. This really means the world. And yeah, here's how it looks. I try to make all those a bit different. Here we have more of those vines and broken trees, like overgrown with different plants. But yeah, we have 3 different dwarf caimans in here. And yeah, I really like how this enclosure looks. All of them have those skylights for more like direct sun. So we have this look just as here. Okay, and moving on, we also have in here the green iguana, and I did just the same thing as with the lesser antenna iguana and made the made the whole exhibit a bit bigger. But this is the in-game one part, and here we have like the part that I did, and now I realized that I didn't add the ceiling in here, but I need to do it later. Oopsie. Sorry guys. Okay, so let's go and let's see the amphibians. So let's move up. We unfortunately cannot use the elevator, we have to take the stairs. So here's the staircase, we have the signs leading us to the amphibian floor. Some like info about the amphibians. Of course, here is the other part of the elevator. We have some implied terrariums that I moved from the actually from the Desert Adventure Park for some smaller species, because I think that typically such a small frogs will more likely live in something like this, not something like this. That's why I would love to see different sizes of those exhibit boxes in the future, maybe in Planet Zoo 2, because I think that realistically they would get something like this. Not something as huge as this, that you can barely find them. Oh, here they are. So okay, we are lucky, but normally it is so hard to find them. This is the red-eyed frog. We have all of them in here. I think that this is this demon poison frog or anything. This like this one basically. But yeah, again, oh, here it is. Quite hard to find them. Here's actually the axolotl, and I have to share with you something really funny that I didn't realize during this build and just, you know, uploading this video, but one of you is very smart and one of you pointed this out, that I did something very stupid, because basically those are the doors, and if we about to open this, the whole water would be just on the floor, right? So I need to fix that. I need to just move this thing a bit, this beam in here, and just to make this upper part, you know, being able to open, because this doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I'll fix that in the future. Here are the axolotls. I don't know where they are. Oh, here's one in the water. Here's one swimming, actually. It's so cool that they have this animation of moving a bit inside of this enclosure. Next to them we have the salamanders. I don't know if we'll be able to spot them or not, but they are somewhere in here. Those actually live in my country, so I'm very familiar to those. No, nothing in there. And here we have the newts. Actually, we can see it right here. Actually, the same story with the water. So I need to fix that. Okay, here's the giant frog. I don't know where they are hiding. They are giant, but still cannot see them for some reason. Here's the... Oh, actually, we can see those. This is the American bullfrog in here. Okay, the same story as with... Hello, guys. With the water. And here's the golden poison frog. Actually, they are just in there. Okay, and this is the entire reptile house. Actually, I forgot about this. This is also something that is highly inspired by the Berlin Zoo. So you can actually see the reptiles from this upper view, or the crocodiles from this upper view, which is so cool. Okay, so let's now go out of the reptile house and go and see more animals. We are going to use this exit or entrance right now next to the green iguanas. And if you go out there, we will see the Vicents. One of also more recent enclosures that I added not long ago. The Vicent is of course added with the Eurasia Animal Pack. And I really love this enclosure. It was inspired by Warsaw Zoo in Poland. They have this entire like mud section in here that they are using quite a lot actually. Maybe I will just slightly change the time of the day so the colors are a bit better, or I don't know. They are not, but yeah, this is the enclosure. Oh, this is perfect. And yeah, the Vicents just have so much space in here. This looks so nice. I love all the details in here. Yeah, I'm so modest sometimes, but I really love this enclosure. And we have another sponsor in here. This enclosure is actually sponsored by Adorov. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is the other side of the entire reptile house. We have this little like tower in here that I also really like. We have a little backstage area in here. Let me get rid of this. And there is like a gate so that if, I don't know, some vehicles must get in here, they can. And yeah, this is how the reptile house basically looks from the other side. This is the second entrance. And this is our Vicent habitat. Really lovely. I also love this feeder that we created for this. Okay, next to the Vicents, we actually have another animal from the Eurasia Animal Pack. The Wolverine, and I must admit that this must be one of my favorite enclosures in the entire zoo, because I simply love this so much. Like all the different height elevations in here, all the details, all the climbing possibilities for them, and the rock work I really love, and also this little creek that we have in here with this little pond for them. Oh, here's actually one. You can see it there. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite enclosures in the entire zoo. This view in here is just so spectacular with those little waterfalls. I really love this enclosure. What are we doing? Yeah, I thought that I probably clicked something. This enclosure, of course, also have a sponsor, Chewy Gaming. Thank you so much for sponsoring our Wolverines. I love them so much. We actually missed something. We missed the entire backstage area for the Vicents, for the Wolverines, and also for the red deers that we are about to see. Oh, here's our Wolverine, so cute. I love those guys so much. Like the face looks amazing. Also this view, oh my god, I love it. Okay, if we'll move here, here's the backstage area for all those animals. Those are the unfinished bits, as I told you guys. I'm rather not focusing on them because, as I told you, I'm saving the piece count, but those like ways to get to the backstage areas are often not done at all. Yeah, I also really love this view. It looks amazing. Okay, so here we have the shelter for the Wissens, and if you enjoyed, if you watched, I hope you enjoyed, but if you watched the episodes, you remember that I didn't have time to finish their shelter, but this is something that I actually did before starting this tour, so we have the entire backstage area and shelter done for them. So here we have the stalls, and you can actually see them back there. I really love how they have turned out. We have a lot of tools for the keepers. We have some hay, and of course my regular stuff that I'm always adding. From here we can actually have this really cool view for the... Just look at this. This looks amazing with the building in the back and the Wissens. Oh my god, such a nice view. But yeah, this was the shelter for the Wissens. So let's continue to see two more of those. Here's the entrance to the Wolverines, and here's the Wolverine shelter with two different cages for them connected in here. They have some climbing opportunities. They have also this little hut to sleep in, and some regular stuff, just as things like food preparing station and stuff like this. And in here we have the holding pen for the red deers, and this is the enclosure for the red deers, of course. I saw, I didn't do like a typical stalls because I saw somewhere in one zoo or anything in my inspirations that they actually had one big like room for them to sleep, and all the whole entire herd was sleeping in one, so I went for something like this. But we also have a place to separate them if there's a need. Okay, so here was the red deers. We are about to see them. You could actually see the red deers already during the last tour as well. But the reptile house and those enclosures that you see like a minute ago are all new. So this is the entire new section of the zoo. And probably this section in here with the reptile house is my favorite section of the entire zoo right now. Okay, so here is the red deer enclosure. Let's just... I'm very particular about the sun in this game. So the red deers have this big shelter in the back with this like covered part, like roofed part in here that they can chill in, and they also have this like natural body of water in here, like a pond that they can just simply use or swim in and so on. And we have a beautiful male back here, and I really like this enclosure because of how many trees are here. I wanted to make it look foresty, dense. They are quite shy, so they should be able to hide from the guests and should be able to go far from the whole path, just as you can see in here. Oh, we actually have the male running. It is so beautiful. I just love the red deer. I would really love to build for them once more, but unfortunately we already have this habitat. Okay, so on the other hand side, like in the back, we have quite a recent enclosure for the wild boars. And I just love it so much. Actually, another of my favorites, I think, in the zoo. Because of all the textures, because of everything that we added here. There's actually a lot of those mud enrichment items in the front combined with some water, and they are using them all the time. Why there is a boxed animal in here? This is very weird. Okay, but we have the boars, wild boars in here. Also, I love those animals so much, and I'm so glad that they were added to Planet Zoo because they are simply amazing. So this is their enclosure with a shelter and a lot of mud. And we have babies in here as well. They have those like shaded parts in the back. Yeah, unfortunately when you are adding a lot of details to the enclosures, sometimes the animals are just jumping over them, which is fine, but sometimes the recording of the cinematic shots of the enclosures, I don't like to showcase this in the cinematic because sometimes it just looks weird, so this is a bit annoying. We have a big male in here, as you guys can see. But yeah, I also love those tree guards in here. I actually made them using the wheel of the bicycle, and I think that this is such a nice idea. Okay, I actually forgot that we also have a sponsor in here. So thank you so much, Kira, for sponsoring the wild boars. This means the world to me. And yeah, this is how the shelter looks with the reptile house in the back. Not the shelter, but the enclosure. Oh my god, I already know that after recording this, my throat will be hurting because this tour will be so damn long. Okay, so here's another shelter. Maybe let's firstly go into the shelter of the wild boars because this is it. So they have those stalls in here, not too many, but still they can be separated. For some feeders, some water stations, and my typical stuff. I actually want to push myself a bit right now, and when we'll be building new shelters in the future, try to use some different things because as you guys can see, they're a bit repetitive after some time. But yeah, definitely will focus on that in the future. This is the shelter of the another animal that we are about to see. The red fox, as you guys can see, they are actually using it. They are inside of here. We actually have a piebald red fox in here, so this is so cool. But yeah, those are actually all the foxes are in here. Like, come on, we won't be able to see any of them in the enclosure. But yeah, this is the shelter for the red foxes with those cages where they can be simply separated. Okay, so let's move over. Let's move on because here we have a really amazing little enclosures that I really liked building just after the Twilight pack was released because those are for the skunk that we have in here. As you guys can see, I really love the skunk in Planet Zoo. I think it is so underappreciated. A really amazing animal that just looks amazing in the game. Oh, actually, there are two of them in here. So nice. I created those little huts for them because this is something that I saw in different zoos that they also have those things. And yeah, they have a little water section here and a very lush and green enclosure. And there is a very similar, this is like a basically double enclosure. And the second part of it is for the raccoons. Here's one. I love raccoons in Planet Zoo. I just love them. This is one of my favorite animals actually. I of course remembered that I promised you guys the ranking of all the animals in Planet Zoo, but I think I will wait for the next DLC and then do it. But yeah, this one will be definitely ranked high, very high. So yeah, we have a lot of them in here. Maybe not a lot of them, but I think 3. I don't know why I said this. I will probably say a lot of stupid things because I'm not used to talking so much to myself. But yeah, here's the little climbing frame. They are actually using it quite a lot. Unfortunately, not right now, but I really love... What was that? I really love those little huts they have in here. They also have a water section. Of course, the raccoons love water. They wash their food in there. Maybe it will do its little animation or not. But yeah, this was also one of the first times that I was using the stalagmites and I just loved it so much. Okay, but we can also go inside of this shelter. And here is one part for the skunks. As you guys can see, hello, so cute. And in here, and here's another part for the raccoons. The raccoons are perfect climbers, or as you guys can see, they can totally use it. So they have those cages to sleep in and not to escape. And here are the entrances to the habitats. Okay, and on the other hand side, we have the outside part of the red fox habitat. Oh, actually, the red foxes are waking up, so we'll see them inside of the enclosure. The enclosure has like a natural pond inside, like in the middle. I really love this detail, and I really love this fox. This coloration is just so beautiful. But yeah, very lush enclosure. I wanted to make it look very natural, very like foresty, just resembling their natural habitats in Europe. So this is what I went for. And this is how the enclosure looks. Here are different like viewing opportunities. I really like the idea for those viewing galleries in here, like windows. And yeah, here's this pond that you guys can see. Yeah, we are about to see the enclosures on the other hand side shortly, but yeah, we have this big borrow in here as well, and this is how the enclosure looks. I really like it. Okay, and here is also one enclosure that we sort of missed. Because, as I told you, the giant tortoises, they also have the outside part, and this is where it is located. And this is our, of course, reptile house. This was a bit inspired by Zoo. And yeah, if we'll go in here, they're like those little, viewing terraces or anything for the guests. They have a little water section, but they also have this thing where they can go and hide from the rain or anything. There's also heat lamps in there. I love the use of those PVC curtains, and yeah, this is how their enclosure looks, like very overgrown, and yeah, very inspired by Zoo. So yeah, this is it, and then this is the first part of the tour. Now I have to sell all the animals and bring in the other bunch, so see you in a second. Okay, I brought some new animals to the zoo, so let's go and see them. So, opposite to the reptile house, we have one enclosure that we sort of missed, and this is the enclosure for the European fallow deer. I love this fence, by the way. So, here is the entire enclosure. I really love those animals. I think that they are so gorgeous, and I was so happy when they added them. And I also really like this detail in here with those like mesh panels and plants growing on them. But yeah, this is quite a simple enclosure, just something that you would expect for animals like this. We actually have a male in here, and yeah, what can I say more? This is just a typical ungulate enclosure that we built some time ago, actually. Let's right now go and see the shelter. I know that you saw so many ungulates by this point, but this is just how I planned this zoo. I promise you that in the future, like in several minutes, we will see more animals, not only different hoof stock. We actually saw some like reptiles and raccoons and stuff, but most of them were definitely hoofstock animals. So here we have the shelter for them. Nothing too crazy, just several stalls so they can be separated during the night. We actually have this really beautiful baby. I think it is melanistic or something. And yeah, this is, as I told you, nothing too crazy. I didn't focus so much at building the backstage areas back then as I am doing this right now. But yeah, this path, of course, is not finished at all. This is something super temporary. We will do something nice later when we actually finishing at the zoo. I actually forgot about this fence that I made. It is so totally custom, and I need to use it more often because I just love it so much. And I also love this fence, and also need to bring it back to several places in the zoo. In here we just have some greenery. I think it is also so important not to have the enclosures just next to each other, and that's all. We also need to have those like a bit empty spaces for some green stuff. So in here we have the Alpine Ibex, also from the Euro pack. Another animal that I really love, especially because of their traversable area and that you are able to build those crazy rock formations for them, and that they will actually be able to climb them. So such an amazing animal. We can actually see the females and a baby in there. There should be a bigger male somewhere in here as well. But yeah, this is their enclosure with some rock formations. This was inspired by some zoo that I saw. Oh, here is the male that had those like viewing opportunities for the guests, like in between those fake rock formations, and I thought that it looked nice, so I did something like this in here. And look at our males, so cool. Okay, if we'll continue this way, we'll see another mountain goat, the doll sheep from the Arctic pack. This is actually my favorite animal from the entire Arctic pack. So many people cannot just believe it, but I really love those guys, especially because of their traversable area. The enclosures for it can look so interesting. So yeah, here we have them. Really cool enclosure. It wasn't too popular on YouTube when I released it, but still I really like it. Okay, if we'll continue this way and go back a little, we will actually see one enclosure that I sort of missed. What is that? Okay, that's a big mystery. Those are parts of the elevator, I think. Okay, I need to sort it out later. But here we have another enclosure that it has a sponsor. It is sponsored by Mox Aviary, and this is the Przewalski Horse Enclosure. Thank you so much for sponsoring it, and this is how it looks. This used to be my most popular video on YouTube, believe it or not. Like, it had so many views back then, like over 60,000, which was so crazy to me. Right now I have more of those, but back then it was actually one of the enclosures that I loved so much because of how popular it was on YouTube. I think that accidentally it was like promoted to a lot of people who just like horses and horse riding. That's why it got so many views. But yeah, I really love those horses. One of my other favorite animals in this game. The model is so beautiful. And yeah, this is their enclosure. And also nothing too special, but I wanted to have a lot of room for them. So they definitely have quite a lot of room to run here and just enjoy. And this is like a little viewing terrace for them. And yeah, there's the raccoon habitat that we already saw. So let's go and see the backstage areas for those enclosures. If we'll continue this way and turn in here, we will actually be able to go. I don't think that there's even a path here, to be honest. I still need to build this, but somewhere in those bushes, yes, there's this whole stable for the horses, so we can actually enter it here. And here you have the stalls, and I think that this was the first time that I really went in and decided to build like a whole big backstage like detailed backstage area with those stalls, feeders, things like that. We got the horse was one of the animals included in the conservation pack, and we got all of those pieces. That's why I really wanted to use them, and they really inspired me to build things like this, like the whole shelter. We actually have a baby, so cute. But yeah, this is their shelter with a lot of different tools and stuff. We should actually have a hay in here. I don't know why the game is lagging suddenly. But yeah, we have hay in here, and in here we also have those holding pens that are inspired by a normal horse pen you'll see on a ranch or anything like that. So yeah, this is the Przewalski Horse Enclosure. And next to it, you could see a little sneak peek of another enclosure or shelter that we can actually see already. This is the shelter for the timber wolves that we will also see in a second. So we can enter it here. They have those cages where they can be separated. They have a bigger one, and this is how the keepers would actually enter this habitat. There's one of the wolves in here sleeping. They have the entire holding pen that is in here so that they can be separated. It is very important when it comes to the animals like wolves and dogs, wild dogs and stuff. But yeah, here are the cages for them. And here's like a tunnel that they use to go inside of those cages. This is all fully functional, so if they want to, they can actually go in here. Okay, but maybe now let's go back and let's see the two shelters for the ibex and for the doll sheeps, because we sort of missed them. So if we'll continue this way and turn in here, there is actually a path behind those enclosures that this keeper is using. So we can take it, and it leads through this lovely forest that we have in here to one of the shelters. They are actually connected. I forgot about this. So we have the doll sheeps on the left hand side, and we have the ibex on the right hand side. And if we'll go enter here, Here we have the stalls for them. So here's the doll sheeps, as you guys can see. And on the other hand side, we have the ibex. Really cool enclosure. Of course, I added some skylights for more natural light inside, but yeah, this is how it basically looks. Okay, so let's go back. We briefly saw the timber wolves, but we basically entered our little like Canet section with several species of wild dogs. So we had the timber wolves. There was the shelter in the back that we already saw, but here is the timber wolf enclosure with a little nice detail of the waterfall that is in here. The enclosure has this moat, and we can actually see the timber wolves enjoying it. Again, nice elevation. I love to make habitats like this because it always ensures that the view for the animals is so nice. We actually have a sponsor of this habitat, Mates. Thank you so much for sponsoring the timber wolves. And yeah, this is how the habitat looks basically. It is quite spacious for them. I know that the animals like this really like the space. Oh, they are actually playing. Okay, let's move over here because we have some more dogs next to the timber wolves. In here we have the Australian dogs, so those are the dingoes. Of course, I use more like orange colors to make this look more like their natural habitat. This is of course one of the habitats that was older, and I think I want to add some details to later. Again, not to fully recreate that, but definitely, not unfortunately, definitely add some details. But yeah, dingoes are so amazing. I love their different color variations. I wish that we even got more because right now the dingoes are in so many different colors, even black and so on. This is the viewing gallery that I remember that I found somewhere on Pinterest, and I wanted to recreate it. And yeah, we have the dingoes in the back. We'll see actually the shelters for them later during the tour because the entrance there is in the other part of the zoo. And in here we have like a very similar enclosure, just simply more temperate and more green. And this is for the dolls, as you guys can see. Here is one of them, and this is their shelter. But the doll habitat also has a really cool like moat in here. With a lot of rocks and those slopes, and they also have like a den or anything like that, like a burrow that they can go in, and this is quite big for them. I think that there is 6 of them, but you can barely see them. In the back you can actually see little sneak peeks of the wonders of Oceania that we will see later during the trip. But yeah, I really love dolls. Another very underappreciated animal in Planet Zoo. I feel like not many people are building for them. I don't see them on YouTube at all, so I definitely want to build something for them in the future to bring a bit more fame to this animal because they absolutely deserve that. Okay, but we sort of missed some enclosures on this side. I know that this is maybe not too hard to follow, but believe me, I visited the Prague Zoo and I love this zoo, but the layout was also a bit like this. So you had to go somewhere, you had to go back, you had to just simply take several routes to see everything. And yeah, this is just basically how I designed the Elm Hill City Zoo. You definitely need some time to see the whole zoo. This is the enclosure for the European badgers. Unfortunately, because of the sun in Planet Zoo and its positioning that we cannot change it, the glass is a little blurry, but believe me that there are some how they are called, the badgers, European badgers in here, but probably they are all hiding in the burrow. They can actually use also this cave in here. They have this really cool rock formation in the back. I don't think we'll be waiting for them and looking for them too much, but you need to simply believe me that they are somewhere here. I think that... Oh, there is one! This is the baby, actually. We are so lucky. Hello! So adorable. I love the badgers so much. Okay, we can actually go inside and see their shelter. I think we had the borrow camera connected in here. I don't know why it is not working, but I'll have to have a look at that later. So here's the entrance to the habitat, and here we have the shelter. So there are those, again, cages for them to sleep in, and they can be separated in here if there's a need to. And there's this window in the back, and yeah, this is how the little shelter for those little animals look behind this little gate in here. Okay, and here's like an elevated path for the summer enclosure for the koalas. We actually have the small mammal house back there that we are about to see, but the koalas have like a fully indoor enclosure in there, and I decided that this is the only animal in this house that has this, that cannot just experience the fresh air. So I decided to build sort of like a summer enclosure for them. This is quite a popular for zoos in temperate climates, so that the animals are held somewhere indoors. Those more tropical animals are held somewhere indoors during the colder months, and during the warmer months you have them outside. So this is the outside koala enclosure, and they would be typically moved to the small mammal house during the colder months. But yeah, I really like that this is elevated, so when they will be actually climbing, unfortunately they are not, as always. This is a problem with koalas in Planet Zoo. Normally they wouldn't be leaving those trees almost at all, or climbing frames, but in here they are just walking on the ground, and they don't mind at all. But yeah, this is something that I wish could be changed. I remember even doing those little eucalyptus feeders in there, so normally this would probably lure them to climb in there, but in Planet Zoo it doesn't work like this. Do we have like a shelter in here? Because I don't really remember what is in there, unfortunately. Okay, are we stuck? Please say that we are not stuck. Oh no, this is just like a keeper hut or anything, and there is the entrance to the shelter. But yeah, this is all when it comes to this part. I now need to sell those animals and bring back the other bunch, so see you in 1 second. Now that we saw the outdoor enclosure for the koala, it is also time to see the indoor enclosure, and it is located in the small mammal house. The small mammal house was one of the first, if not the first, animal building that we've built in the zoo quite a long time ago, and this is actually the building that I'm thinking of sort of maybe not completely recreating, but like enhancing, adding detail to, because I think that this is definitely not my best work, and I know that it has some better potential just to do better things inside of it, and also change the whole appearance of the building a bit. In this building we have for example the red pandas that are actually sponsored by Alex Dionysos. Thank you so much for sponsoring this habitat. This is of course the indoor section that is slightly inspired by their natural habitat. We actually have a lot of babies in here, and yeah, we have a lot of little waterfall in here, and this is basically how it looks. Next to them we have the Chinese pangolins that you can see right now. This is doing this really cute animation. I actually had the pleasure of seeing the Chinese pangolin for the first time in my life in Prague Zoo, and I was so right when it comes to those like climbing frames that I did in here, because they are indeed climbing using their tail. Unfortunately we don't have that in Planet Zoo. Okay, this one is probably treated for something, but they definitely can climb, so it is such a pity that they cannot do it in the game. They also had the outdoor enclosure that we are about to see, and in here, just as I told you guys, is the indoor part for the koalas. They have a lot of climbing frames in here. Actually in here you can have a eucalyptus growing, so they can eat it, they can climb on those. And yeah, this is their indoor enclosure. I don't know where they are. I think that there are two in here, but they are probably hidden somewhere. What else is in this building? We have some info signs from the workshop. Back then we also didn't have billboards. So yeah, I actually forgot to tell you that there's the indoor parts, like the backstage areas for all of those enclosures as well. So we can go there. Next to them we have the aardvarks as well, so there's also an indoor little backstage area for those. And for the aardvarks, if I remember correctly, oh, we actually have a baby in here as well. We have this little like den or anything that the guests can see the animals when they are actually sleeping here, which is so cool, with the access for the keepers in case they need to clean that or do some maintenance and stuff. There's an aardvark. I love those animals so much. Okay, moving on, maybe we'll be able to see some koalas, but not there. Probably in their little shelter there. We'll also go inside there just to show you this. This is the giant otter habitat. We can actually see the giant otter. And back then when I was building this, we actually didn't have the Asian small-clawed otter. And I think that they probably should be swapped, to be honest. I'm thinking of adding eventually the Asian small-clawed otter here and rebuilding this habitat slightly. And adding the giant otters to the bigger habitat that we actually built for the Asian small-clawed otters that we are about to see later during the tour. They are located in the wetlands house, so yeah, we'll go there as well. In here we have the indoor part for the koalas, or here they are actually using the climbing frames, which is so cool. I love them. They are so adorable in the game. This is not the exact model of the koala. I mean that they could be a bit more realistic, but especially with the ears and stuff, but still they look so amazing. I love those guys so much. Okay, but let's maybe move on outside right now to see some more enclosures. We'll start from this way, this part, I think. So in here we have the outdoor part for the red pandas, as you guys can see. Some rock formations in the back, a lot of climbing frames. Actually, there's one using them, so this is so cool. Again, Alex Dionysos, thank you so much for sponsoring this habitat. If I remember it correctly, they have like a little, yes, they have a little like cave in there that they can use, so this is so cool. This was inspired by some like a petting zoo or anything in a very modern zoo. I really like this detail of this building with those mesh panels. I still need to add the mesh on the sort of like a roof or anything, because back then we didn't have those pieces, so I definitely need to do that. And in there, this is the pangolin part. I don't know if any of them are outside, but they also have like those little caves where they can hide and sleep and so on. Here is the binturong habitat that we will see later. This is actually the main entrance to the small mammal house with this sign with the red panda. I actually used to add a lot of those signs back in the times when we started to build this zoo, and I need to go back to this because they are only at the beginning, and then we sort of like forgot about them, so I need to do this once more. And then here we have slightly bigger enclosures. So here we have the one for the aardvarks, as you guys can see, a bit like savanna inspired. They also have this cave that they can go in and sleep there. We also didn't have burrows back then, so I created my own for them. And in here we have the giant otters with this little waterfall and also this little like creek or river or anything, more like simply wetlands inspired. And if we go down there, this part is the most part, like one of the most hated parts by me in the entire zoo. I just hate this so much. It is so unrealistic to have such a deep, I don't know, water or deep viewing, underwater viewing for any animals and such. Unfortunately, they are not diving right now, but I definitely need to change it in the future. So yeah, this is all when it comes to the small mammal house. I'm wondering if there are some people who were watching my channel who are watching this tour right now, who watched it when it was initially like uploaded to my channel. This would be so cool if some of you are still watching this tour right now. I realized that I forgot to tell you something very important that I should probably be telling you at the beginning of the video. So about the uploaded version, like uploaded file of the Elm Hill City Zoo that I am about to upload, not uploaded, but updated, sorry, the updated version of the Elm Hill City Zoo that I am about to upload to the Steam Workshop. Of course, after this tour, you'll be able to download the zoo and check it out yourself. I will probably remove all the animals just for the performance, but I will also include a quick little instruction on what you have to do if your game is crashing when you are trying to load in, because you will definitely encounter some problems with it. And this is the official instruction that I was given by Frontier, so don't worry when you'll be doing this. You should be good to go when you will just, do everything that I will tell you in the blueprint description. But yeah, this habitat is inspired by my local zoo in Gdańsk. This is the habitat for the backchain camels that I also want to maybe not completely recreate, but add a lot of details to it because it is a bit bare. But yeah, another like desert inspired habitat in the temperate zoo. The backchain camels look so much better right now after they gave those small tweaks to them, like changed the size and so on. I love them so much. I love camels, both the backchain and the dromedary. They are so cool. Okay, now we can take both one or two ways. We will probably go here first. If we go here, like this path is completely not finished, so don't look at it. We will go to the habitat for the moose with this big natural water section. Although it is an older habitat, I still love it so much. I remember that I worked on it so long because of basically those things. There's a lot of different rocks and waterfalls. I wanted to make it look very dense. Actually, this view right now with the moose in this little forest is so amazing. Oh my god, I was so happy when the moose was added to the game. I just love it so much. Just look at this. That would be actually a very cool thumbnail for the video. But yeah, here's like this very big lake with this like cool terrace for the guests. In the back we have this like covered fence for them. They are a bit shy, so everything that is going on in the back is covered for them. But yeah, this habitat is very big, very spacious. Those are huge animals and I'm sure that they appreciate a lot of space. We actually missed the shelter for them. That is like somewhere here. Of course, the path is not finished at all. This is just going through some bushes and trees. But here is the shelter, and we have like the holding separation areas as well for them. So this is where the keepers will enter. We have the stalls for them just to separate them. We have this like little shaded structure that they can hide from the sun. And also here's like a holding pen. Hello, you are so huge. And here's another holding pen in the back. So yeah, this is how the habitat is designed. Hello, who have we here? Who do we have here? Amazing. The longer that I'm talking in English, the more mistakes that I'm making, so sorry for this. I just am realizing it lately that I just cannot talk too much in English because after some time, it should be different actually. Like with more talking, I should be better and better, but I'm guessing my brain is just getting a bit tired of it. And I am doing those very stupid mistakes. Okay, so here we have like a little rodent house, American rodent house, where we have the North American beavers. As you guys can see, really cool enclosure with this underwater viewing gallery that I really love, with this dome in here. It has two different viewings. One is in here down there, and we also have another one back there that we're about to see. But yeah, I really love this enclosure. I was so proud of it when we built it. Actually, it was a long time ago after the American pack was released, the North America Animal Pack, I think. But yeah, those river banks from the tree trunks are also really nice. And yeah, this is how it looks. If we'll go here, here's like an implied exhibit for some also small rodents from North America. And in here we have, of course, the prairie dog habitat with sort of like an elevated view so that the guests can have this sort of like an eye level view of the prairie dogs. It is so cool. And of course, there's another like viewing terrace in there that we are about to see. They also have those cool tunnels that I created for them. And in here, they also have this cave that they can sleep in, and the guests can just have a sneak peek into. Unfortunately, no one is sleeping here, but yeah, this is the prairie dog habitat. This is basically like a little temperate or American section, we can call it, of the zoo, because in here we also have the Arctic foxes. So slightly like taller fences for them, because they can actually jump pretty high. They have those little huts that I saw as an inspiration in one of the zoos. And I really like this detail. They have a little swimming, like a waterfall. Oh, here's one. Hello, they are so adorable. And also they can be separated, as you guys can see in here. And here is like a also meshed section for them with a little cave. This is inspired by some zoo, but I don't remember really which zoo was that, because I've built it so long ago. If we'll go here back to this path, we will actually be back at our insect house. But I just wanted to show you the enclosure or the shelter for the foxes, because it is in here, just behind the fallow deers. We can go in here and enter this. And here we have like cages on both sides. And yeah, they are spending their nights in here, just as this one. So yeah, this is the red foxes. We can actually quickly run through here next to let's pause the game, it won't be so laggy. And let's go in here next to our pronghorns that we already saw at the beginning of the trip. As you guys can see, they are here. And next to them is the viewing area, or the viewing terrace for our little prairie dogs. So this is how the enclosure looks. I really love those little tunnels that they can actually go into. And yeah, really cool. So this is that. If you'll continue this way, we can actually maybe go to the firstly to their shelter. So the shelter is both for the prairie dogs in here, so this is where they can sleep, as you guys can see, and this side is for the North American beavers, and we have one beaver sleeping in here as well. It feels so damn clean without all the decal pieces, but back then we didn't have those. This is the entrance to the beaver habitat in here. Of course, I had to jump out on the roof, as always during those trips. Sorry for that, we just will quickly fix that. And on this hand side, we also have a little viewing terrace for both the pronghorns and the backchain camels that we already saw. So going back here, we can see this upper viewing for the North American beavers. As you guys can see, there's some of them, there's one sleeping, and there's this DIMM enrichment for them. And I just designed this in the way that we have those implied waterfalls coming down of this enrichment item to this big water section for them. Okay, so this is the North American beaver. And I think that this is all for this section of the tour. Now let me sell those animals or release them to the wild and bring in the new bunch of animals to the zoo. Okay, so right now we are about to see one, if not the best habitats in the zoo, at least in my opinion, and definitely one of my favorite sections in the zoo, the Australian or Oceanian section. Those habitats are just one of my favorites, and also I just love this view with the wildcat house in the back. But before that, we actually have two different backstage areas to check out. In here, we actually have this is the sea lion habitat, and with the sea lion shelter. So in here they have this little indoor pool where they can be separated, and some stalls just for them. A very simple building. The building looks so much better from the habitat side, but we are about to check it out later. And on this side we have the whole backstage area. What I want to show you right now is maybe not those things, but the things that we actually missed. If we'll continue this way, we will actually go to the big shelter for both the dolls that are living in here. So they have this big indoor area with this separation or a training room or anything. And there's some like fridges for eat, for foods basically. And in here we have the same one for the dingoes. So this is where they will spend their nights. And yeah, coming back here, we can actually see the backstage for the first animal that we are about to see in the Australian section. This is the small shelter for the wombats, so they would just be separated or held here during, like, I don't know, night or the time that they need to simply be separated, because they have this indoor area that we are about to see. But yeah, this is basically our Oceanian section, and in here we have animals like, for example, the emus that you can see here. But before that, I created a little picnic area in here that you can actually chill in, just sit and enjoy the view for the emus and for the beautiful wildcat house in the back that we'll check out after the Australian section. So in here, besides the emus, of course, I just love this habitat, how lush green it looks, and how just they are just gracefully, maybe not this gracefully, but gracefully walking through those grasses, and it looks so amazing with this wall that they are not able to jump like on. And yeah, I really love all the details of this enclosure. We will check out the shelter a bit later. But here is, on this hand side, is also a really cool enclosure for the wombats, and this was the first time for me actually using, maybe this was the second time, because I used them for the first exhibit. It was actually, I think, the bats, and then I used it here, and a lot of you guys loved it so much, and from this time I just cannot stop using those stalagmite pieces to create those rock walls and rock formations. But yeah, this is the wombat habitat. We can actually see the wombats. I've been, I think, to 3 zoos that houses wombats, and I was only lucky once during my visit to Prague Zoo to actually see them, because they're always hiding somewhere. But we are very lucky in here in Elm Hill City Zoo, because we can actually see them standing there. And this is the other viewing opportunity, and this is also the indoor part where they can be, for example, held during the winter time, also with those rock formations and such. And yeah, this is their enclosure. Continuing down there, if the game wouldn't be lagging, we of course have the continuation of the emu habitat. And in here we have something really cool. I love this enclosure so much. This is the walkthrough enclosure for the wallaby, the red-necked wallaby. Of course, if the guests don't want to, they don't need to go in there, because they have this amazing view for the habitat from here, just from the path. But we of course want to go in there, so we can use this like airlock system. To go in here. There's some like information about the wallabies and what to do and what not to do in this enclosure. And in here we are just inside with those lovely little wallabies that I love so much. I just love this addition to Planet Zoo. They look amazing. So yeah, this is the walkthrough exhibit for them. The guests would normally use this path and shouldn't be able to just go off this path. But look how close we are. This would be just amazing to be able to experience that. This was inspired by my visit to Copenhagen Zoo. They had something rather similar in the zoo, also with wallabies. That was a nice spot to pause the game. And yeah, I really love the Copenhagen Zoo, and yeah, this was heavily inspired by it. Okay, in here the guests would exit this walkthrough exhibit, and in here I actually want to add the red kangaroos. I think it makes sense to add them next to the wallabies, and build something nice for them in here, just as a reminder, because I moved them or removed them from the entrance area, and now I'll be adding them in here, but more on that later in the planning session of the zoo. Okay, so here we have two different shelters. One is for wallabies in here, so they can be, of course, separated in here. They would spend their nights here. And the other one in here for the emus that I really like, with those feeders made out of the buckets and stuff. Actually, one of them is using it. So cool. So yeah, this is the shelter for the emus, and let's go back maybe through here. We will see all the big cats in a second, because firstly, I want to show you probably my very favorite building in the entire zoo. I am like battling myself if all the time if this one is my favorite or if the new reptile house is my favorite. Definitely let me know down in the comments which one do you prefer, but this is definitely something that is super modern, that was built in the zoo not a while ago, and yeah, the European animals are getting the Australian and Oceanian animals are getting more and more popular in European zoos, and normally those habitats for those animals are newer because they are simply new to Europe, and yeah, this is a new building for 3 or even 4 or 5 different species of Oceanian animals. 3 of them are the habitat species. We have the Tasmanian devils, we have the quokkas, and we have the kiwis, and this habitat is so amazing. It was also a bit inspired by my visit to Prague Zoo. I really wanted to make it look a very overgrown, lush, with this little creek in the middle that looks so nice. And this viewing dome, because we had them added to the game with those little guys, so I really wanted to incorporate that in here. And yeah, this is how the Tasmanian devil habitat looks. I learned that those ferns can actually grow in European climate. They are from New Zealand, so they shouldn't be getting frozen during or dying. They shouldn't be dying during our winter in here. Okay, so this was the habitat for the Tasmanian devil. By the way, I also forgot to mention that I have a lot of those information boards in the zoo, and they are all made by Marco, so thank you so much. He just wanted to make them for me, and I really appreciate that. So this is the main entrance to our Wonders of Oceania. Unfortunately, we cannot make the sun or the light any better in here because of how this game simply works. But yeah, this is the Wonders of Oceania, and in here we also have the little and cute quokkas. Such an unexpected addition to Planet Zoo that I actually learned to love, and I love it so much because they are tiny, they are cute, they are adorable. This is a small animal, so a really nice size variation in those enclosures. You can build something smaller for those. And yeah, this is the habitat that I created for them, the outside part. We will also go to the next one because we will see the indoor habitats in the second. And this one is, as you guys can see, for the kiwis. We normally probably wouldn't see them during the night, during the middle of the day in here, because they would be sleeping because they're nocturnal mainly. But yeah, this is their enclosure. I also really wanted to make it very overgrown, very green, lush and stuff. And yeah, I really like how it is looking. I love creating those very detailed and small enclosures for animals like this. Okay, let's move to the inside of this whole building. So we will use this door in here. We can actually have a little sneak peek of the animals that are living in here. We have some information about the Wonders of Oceania. We also have the opening hours. So yeah, there's the airlock because inside we have this whole controlled environment with a lot of tropical plants, as you guys can see. In here is the indoor part for the Tasmanian devils. They are actually, I think, all inside right now. I also like this little detail of those hidden signs next to the enclosures. You are about to see all of them in here, and in through here you are actually entering the viewing bubble that is outside. I also really like this detail. So yeah, this is it. When it comes to the quokkas, you can have a sneak peek of them here. Actually, there are some inside, as you guys can see. They're here. I love all those details about Shift C. They make the buildings look so much more realistic. Okay, so this is the indoor part for the quokka enclosure. I really like this one as well. Small one, but looks so cool with this green wall in the back. And yeah, we will see that at the end when it comes to this indoor jungle. In here we actually have a implied exhibit for example. I wanted to add like the stick insect, like a giant stick insect or anything that was supposed to be added to the game with the Australian pack but didn't make it to the game. We don't know why the Australian pack didn't include this, but we got the blue-tongued lizard, I think. So I created the exhibit for it, and in here we actually have a little nocturnal section called the Oceanian Nights, and in here we should probably change the time of the day to night, because we are about to see it in better how I just envisioned it. So this is the indoor enclosure for the kiwis, where they be just held during winter time. And yeah, those red lights are often used in those nocturnal like houses and exhibits, and this is simply how it looks. And in here we also have I think this is the death adder. Yeah, the common death adder, that is also a nocturnal snake from Oceania, so this was also included here. It is actually also included in the reptile house as well. And here we have a little info sign for both the common adder and the kiwis. I also really love this wall. I need to repeat it somewhere because it looks so phenomenal. And yeah, I really like this enclosure. Okay, let's move the time back to the middle of the day. And let's go out in here because I still want to show you all the details of this building. In here we have a little indoor jungle with some information about different tropical plants, but also some like typical Indonesian statues, and also maybe some information about them, about the culture of the Indonesia. And in here we actually have a kiwi mocktail bar. So you can grab a mocktail in here and enjoy it inside of this building. So yeah, probably my favorite building out of the entire Elm Hill City Zoo. I just love it so much. I love this glass roof and all the details that we have in here. And yeah, we can use the other doors to exit the exhibit, to exit the building. Also, here is another look for the quokkas with an entrance for the keepers. And yeah, right now it is time to see the wildcat house. Now we are about to see some bigger and smaller cats. We are standing in front of the wildcat house. I know that the cats in Planet Zoo for some of you are your favorite animals. I also really like them, although I am typically a dog person, but you cannot have the zoo without at least several species of wild cats. We'll actually go inside later. Maybe firstly we'll go just past the wallabies and see in the outside enclosure of all the cats that are living in here, and I place them here based on the climates and biomes that they're coming from. So we are walking through the colder climates first, and going through some more temperate and till we get to the savannas and then tropical climates. So as you guys can see, we are starting here with the snow leopard, and this is its enclosure. Okay, that was a huge jump. If we'll continue this way, we are about to enter this lovely path that overlooks all the outdoor enclosures, and this is the outdoor enclosure for for the snow leopard. This building is heavily inspired by the building that is called the Alfred Brem House in Deer Park, Berlin. So I was really inspired by this. And the whole shell of the building and the whole concept is very inspired by this one. Next to the snow leopards, we have the cougars. I think that they are hiding somewhere, but this is their enclosure. I tried to give all of those enclosures something unique. So that one was a bit more like mountainy, and this one has the waterfall. We can see actually a small cougar in here. They are so beautiful. Don't tell me that it decided to hide between the rock, but yeah, they are so beautiful. Okay, if you'll continue this way, there is a place. This building is almost finished because it is missing only one cat that I am about to add in here, and this is the Eurasian lynx that will live in here. But yeah, I finally need to do it and need to build this enclosure. Okay, here's the other view for the cougar enclosure, like overlooking this beautiful waterfall that we have in here. Is the cougar somewhere there? No. Oh, it is going inside of the shelter. Okay, what we are about to do is just enter the building for 1 second. And we will go here because on our way we are passing next to the Siberian tiger indoor enclosure. So this is how it looks. It is big because those are really large cats. It is again inspired by the Alfred Brem house from the Berlin Deer Park. Unfortunately, I cannot see any tigers. They are probably outside. So let's go outside first and see all of those outside enclosures. So yeah, here we have the Siberian tigers. As you guys can see, actually they are here. We also have some little ones. And they have this very cool rock formation that they can climb on. And yeah, this is how the habitat looks. There's one sleeping in the back actually. There's a huge moat for them to prevent any escapes. We have some more small ones in there. So yeah, this is the Siberian tiger enclosure. Really cool. I really love it. But yeah, moving on, maybe let's now take a look at this enclosure. This is the only like a fully caged one, and this is for the Amur leopards. They are really skilled climbers, so I read that there was even an Amur leopard somewhere in the zoo that escaped several times from the enclosure, so I decided to make it into this huge cage. I'm not sure where they are, but they are able to use all of those climbing frames and also the rock formations in the back. Here it is. This is actually my favorite cats in the game. They are so beautiful. Frontier did such an amazing job on this model. So yeah, here we have the Amur leopard in here. Like this is also like a shaded structure for the guests just to watch them from. And yeah, this is how this whole cage basically looks. Okay, and on this side we actually have our first more like warm climate enclosure, and this is for the lions. As you guys can see, the West African lions. We have a beautiful lioness in here, and this was meant to resemble a bit the Pride Rock from the Lion King. I didn't want to recreate this. I just wanted to make something similar but with my own twist. I don't know where the male is. Maybe it is somewhere in the building, but we can see another lion in here. I'm walking this way because I want to show you something new that is in here and was not included in the last tour. Because in here I decided to add the pond for the mute swans that were added not long ago to the game. And yeah, this is the pond. You can actually download it from the workshop. So really cool enclosure. I love it so much how overgrown it is with all those lily pads and like duckweed. And yeah, the fence in the back also looks so cool with those ivy plants growing on it. So yeah, here we have the mute swans. Maybe if you are here, we can actually go inside of their shelter. Again, the path is not done at all in here. So this is the shelter. I imagine that they will be just sleeping like this. There's the heat lamp in here. And yeah, this is like some cupboards for them, for maybe more, not for them, but for the keepers to just, you know, have some things for them. Actually, we can walk through here quickly because I wanted to show you this really cool detail of a nest that I created for them. And yeah, it is on this island, so we can sort of pretend that they are actually having eggs in here, breeding and stuff. Okay, let's continue this way actually, because in here we can see this other side of the lion habitat. The lion habitat is the biggest of all the habitats for the big cats in here. They are the biggest, like they are living, the only cat that lives in the group, so they need a lot of space. They actually have this separation area in the back as well. This is all not finished, so don't pay too much attention for that. And we are about to see right now one of my absolute favorite enclosures in the entire zoo. This is the sandcat enclosure that I created here, added sort of after being sort of more or less done with the entire building. And I just love this so much. This structure looks so good. I am still proud of it because, oh my god, this looks so amazing with this meshed like top and all the rock formations that they can actually use and walk in here. And of course the sandcats live on the desert, so they wouldn't probably held in here during winter. They have for this indoor part in here. I am actually not sure where they are. Oh, here they are. Hi. So adorable. So yeah, they are indoors unfortunately, but yeah, this is the enclosure. I just really love the shape, the idea, everything just works in here. I must say that this is probably one of my favorites in the entire zoo. Okay, we can actually also enter the indoor part. In here we have like a little food preparation station. We have a airlock that goes inside of the outdoor exhibit, and those cages for the cats to sleep in. And there is the entrance to the indoor part of the exhibit. Okay, but moving on, we have still some more cats to see outside. Here we have this viewing window for the cheetahs, and we can actually see the cheetah back there carrying this toy. And the second one is just standing there. So for the cheetahs, I had this idea to make this very like grassy with a lot of tall grasses for them to hide, because this is simply what they are doing. For example, in my local zoo, the enclosure is very like overgrown with a lot of tall grasses, and you can barely see those sometimes. But when it comes to the animals, but still, I really love this idea. So yeah, this is the cheetah enclosure, and next to it we have the jaguar enclosure. Of course, a bit more tropical. Those are the cats that come from tropical regions of our world. So this is how their enclosure look. A lot of bamboo and some taller grasses and stuff like this. And this enclosure actually has a sponsor. So Agustin, thank you so much for sponsoring the jaguars. I must say that I really like this enclosure. Of course, it also has this window in here, so we can have a closer look at the jaguars if they were somewhere in here. Okay, we saw all the outdoor enclosures in here, so let's go inside right now. This is the main entrance to the Wildcat house. We have some rules in here. In the actual zoo, I think that they have the King Cobra enclosure or something. But there's definitely a snake living here. So in here we have a fountain with a first cat, and in the middle of the house we actually have the only fully like indoor enclosure in here. This is like a full-on jungle that is inside of this building, and this is for the clouded leopards. They have this entire water section for them in here. They have a lot of climbing frames, as you guys can see, and they have this like big rock formation that they can also climb on. I unfortunately cannot see any of them, but I'm sure that they are hiding somewhere. I also love those windows in there. I just love how this enclosure looks. Also, this was kind of fun to create. I need to do more stuff like this. This was done by using the mulch pieces to sort of like hide the ugly bits of the terrain. But where are those? Here they are. So this is the backstage area that we are about to see. But yeah, here is our clouded leopards. And those are also so beautiful. Okay, but moving on this side we have the indoor part for the those are the snow leopards. They are probably outside right now. What I also wanted to tell you about this building is that it is not like 100% finished. I still want to add some planters in here, maybe some benches for the guests, and maybe a little restaurant or anything like that. But I want to do it after adding the last cuts to the zoo, so after adding the links. And we will probably do it. Of course, if there won't be any more cuts in one of the DLCs or the one DLC that we are about to get. But we don't know about this. I'll have to find a way of adding it in here as well. Okay, we are approaching the indoor part or the backstage part for the snow leopards. Actually, one of them is sleeping here. So this is like the separation area for them. And also here the keepers are just walking inside of the habitat and inside of the indoor part. So this is it. Let's go back. To see our cougars right now, and they are just in here. So this is the indoor cougar enclosure. Making those look a bit different was kind of a struggle, but in here you have those like I don't know, logs or anything resembling like an very, or maybe not very, but a dense forest that they are living in. Oh, we actually have a small baby in here. Hello, you are so beautiful. And we can go and check out the backstage for them as well. So this is through these doors. Again, this is not finished fully, so some of the walls are a bit bare at the moment. Okay, so here we have one of the cougars in here going to sleep, and we have a little baby as well. And yeah, this is also the entrance to the habitat. Okay, so through those doors we are going back. Actually, we can right now see the tigers using the indoor part of the enclosure. So amazing. Oh my god. This is my favorite kind of the like species of the tiger that we have in the game. I prefer the Siberian one over the Bengal tiger like so much more. Okay, this is also another indoor enclosure, and I don't know what happened here. But we basically have the cougars that are living in here. And those are two of them, I think. And yeah, this one is also really cool. Of course, the cougars are smaller, so they didn't need so much space. But I really like this enclosure. Again, they have some like rock formations in the back that they can climb on, and this whole this is just basically like a arid climate habitat inspired by more like more dry climates. Also, I really like this canyon that we created here, and they are actually able to cross this using this beam or this branch in here, but unfortunately I am sure that we won't see that during the tour. Okay, this one is for the Amur leopards that we already saw outside, so they also have those climbing frames, and they can climb from one rock formation to the other. Actually, here is a big jump, but here is the Amur leopard. We actually missed this part that the keeper is also going into. This is the holding pen or the night quarters for them, and the entrance to the habitat. Okay, so let's go back. I actually love this view in here, like those viewing windows are so nice. So this is the cougars as well. I don't know where the second is, but it's probably like the colors of this exhibit make it make it so hard to spot in because it blends so well into this. But yeah, this is the indoor part for the lions, very similar to the one that we had for the Siberian tigers. We can actually see one of the lions using it in here, or more of them actually here being fed right now. So this is such a cool view. I also really love the rock formation in the back. And yeah, I just realized that we sort of missed the indoor parts for, or the backstage parts for them. So let me just take a shortcut. The one for the Siberian tigers is basically the same. So here is it. They also have like those separated areas, and this is the other entrance to the outside of the enclosure. So yeah, this is how the backstage for the lions looks like. Pretend that we are not in the in the lion cage right now. Okay, here's also another sneak peek inside of the indoor part of the sandcat enclosure. I think that they might be stuck in here actually. Maybe we have to move them. But yeah, this is the sandcats. Here is actually the indoor part or the backstage part for the cheetahs. They are actually sleeping in here. Hello. And the entrance to the habitat. And if you'll continue in there, you can see the other side of the cougar habitat, and also of course the indoor part for our cheetahs with a little more like savanna looking rocks and rock formations. In here is the backstage for the cougars as well. So they can be separated. Actually, I saw once it climbing this, so it was so nice to see that they are actually using all those things that I am adding for them. And here's the most tropical enclosure, of course, for the jaguars. And they also have some climbing opportunities in here, some like bamboo beams that they can climb on. I cannot see them, unfortunately, but this is probably one of my favorites when it comes to those indoor enclosures in this building. My favorite is probably for the cougar, but I also really like this one. Okay, and here is the backstage area. We have some like backstage buildings in here because I was really lacking those in the zoo, so I decided to hide them here. And here is the backstage for the jaguars, and they are actually, of course, in here sleeping, laying, and resting. And here is the entrance to the indoor habitats. So yeah, we've seen the entire house. Oh no, I think that I actually missed one backstage area for the clouded leopards, and it is in here. So if we'll enter through this door, here are the cages for the clouded leopards, and actually one of them is sleeping here. So yeah, this is the entire wildcat house. But this is not everything that is new in this area, because if you've been watching some of the previous episodes or recent episodes of the Elm Hill City Zoo, you will remember that we not long ago started the petting zoo in this zoo, and it is located actually next to the wildcat house, and we will go right now and see it. So if we'll exit through those doors next to the sandcat and maybe not get teleported to the roof, we will... Not this one. Oh my god, this tour is such a mess. We will see the new part of the Barnyard Park, basically, area. Or this is our petting zoo. I don't know if this is the spot where we'll actually leave those enclosures, but I really wanted to start a petting zoo in here. I think of adding an additional entrance to the zoo somewhere here, so maybe it will make sense. We will see as we'll go, but this is basically the chicken coop for the Sussex chicken from the pack, with this little like blue chicken coop that you can see right now. And yeah, I have had this idea of making those different barns and different buildings for the animals in different colors. So we have only two right now, One is blue, one is like reddish, and we have more in the future like next to them. But yeah, this is the chicken coop that you can see right here. So we can actually enter inside of it to see like those. This is not functional, but the chickens will definitely be going in here and laying their eggs in those little places that are for this purpose. And this is the entrance for to this coop for the keepers, but yeah, the actual entrance, in-game entrance, is hidden under the ground. I actually want to do a tutorial for you guys on how to do it because I have so many questions about this. Okay, so this is a little barn for the alpine goats and the sheep. I don't know why they are standing like this, but this is really cool. The guys can actually go and have a sneak peek of the barn in here when the animals are inside. This is the food dispenser made by Haribo, I think. Those are those like outdoor stalls, so we can grab our food and actually enter this habitat, like also use this hand sanitizer and go in here to pet and feed our goats and sheep, sorry. And yeah, I really like this. Maybe it could be a bit bigger, but still I think that the size is quite realistic. Also those like climbing things for the goats using the tires, this is so typical for petting zoos and enclosures like this. And yeah, this is the other side of the barn. And actually, if we'll go back here, you can enter the barn and see the indoor enclosures for those goats and the sheep and all the tools, all the shelves and everything for the keepers. So this is how it all looks. I really like this barn, although it was so much work, especially with the facade. I really like this, and I cannot wait actually to build more enclosures in our petting zoo. I cannot wait to add the donkey, the Highland cattle, and for example the llamas that we are about to move in here, and also the alpacas. So yeah, let me now sell the animals and bring back some new ones for the rest of the trip. Okay, let's continue our tour through the Elm Hill City Zoo. So, because we don't have some paths still connecting those areas, we just now need to go back to sort of like an entrance area to show you all the remaining exhibits. I think that we saw more than a half, so we still have a lot of the zoo to see, but we saw most of the exhibits and animals already. What I would like to remind you while we are going back to those enclosures in there is that if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so, because this really means the world to me. This means a lot to my channel. This tells YouTube that you are enjoying those videos and helps to promote my channel, but also you won't miss any of the future uploads from this series, and you'll be able to join us on this journey of creating the Elm Hill City Zoo, which is so cool and amazing. Okay, so here we have the Binturong exhibit that I actually created long ago. I like it still. It is quite nice. This is one of those exhibits that I sort of want to enhance, like definitely adds a lot of decals. Probably some wires in here would be like good to have, because those guys can climb. And yeah, this is their outdoor exhibit. We can actually unpause, so we can find some. This is one of the Binturongs. I really love those animals in real life. I think that they are so goofy and so like lazy looking, but also really cute. And I'm so glad that we have them in Planet Zoo, because I also think that before having them, a lot of people didn't know about their existence on our planet. So a lot of people got to know the Binturongs because of Planet Zoo. And also I remember that climbing for those guys in this exhibit was totally broken. They weren't climbing at all. They were all the time on the ground, but they must have fixed something, because right now they are using those climbing frames all of the time, which is so cool to see. The Binturongs, of course, also have an indoor area, because we are in the temperate biome, so those are more tropical animals, so they need a place to stay during the winter. And this is the indoor part that they can also also use if they want to. They have several like entrances that they can use. And if I remember correctly, there's also like a little stuff area in here. Yeah, it's not decorated or anything, but this is how the keepers just entered the habitat. And I think that this is the first habitat that they've built where those like billboards were added. So I of course wanted to have them in here. So yeah, this is what I did with the billboards. And we also have a little animal talking point for the educator, so he can educate the guest a little bit about the binturongs. Okay, so let's go back and let's go right now to a really special habitat. Because this was the first habitat actually that I ever built on my channel and in the Elm Hill City Zoo, and right now it is totally rebuilt. This is the gray seal habitat, the first habitat that I decided to rebuild in the Elm Hill City Zoo. And actually we also did this ice cream booth in here as well next to the gray seals. So we have this lovely lady selling ice cream and also some coffee. We also have like some behind the scenes stuff that the guests can see. Also we can buy some souvenirs in here. I really must say that I love this little booth so much. But yeah, this is our gray seal habitat. It is actually sponsored by my first ever member on the channel, Charlotte in Vorsen, if I am pronouncing this correctly. Thank you so much, Charlotte. It means so much to me that you are supporting my channel for such a long time. But yeah, this is the new seal habitat. We actually can see the seals enjoying it. Maybe let's unpause the game and maybe let's change the sun a little bit so it looks better. Yes, maybe this way. So yeah, I really love the new version of this exhibit. It is a bit inspired again by the California Sea Lion exhibit in the Berlin Zoo. So I took a lot of the inspiration from Berlin Zoo in this zoo. The guests can go down here actually using the stairs to see the underwater viewing gallery for the seals, and it looks so cool when they are swimming in here. We can also have a seat in here, like use those small stairs and decide to sit on one of those seats, so this is also really cool. I can imagine an educator giving a talk right here, or doing like a little show for the guests with the seals. So yeah, I really must say that I really love this habitat. This view in here is also so incredible. One of my favorite habitats in the zoo right now for sure. I think that it really shows how much I was able to improve in this game since we started the channel. So yeah, we even have a little baby, look, so cute. Okay, and if we turn right, of course, here's the education center that you saw at the very beginning of the tour. And right now we will check out a building. This is the penguin house, and what I'm about to tell you about the penguin house might surprise some of you. Maybe some of you will be actually happy. This is one of the buildings, and actually two of the habitats in there, because we have the king penguins and we have the African penguins in there. This is the building that I plan to completely delete, completely destroy and rebuild. And also bring in the third species of penguin that we have in the game, the little penguin from the Oceania pack. So of course we are about to check this out, but just keep in mind that this is not like a final version of this, because we will change it severally. I think that this habitat is, for example, so large and so unrealistic for an indoor penguin habitat, but actually it was the second habitat that I ever created on YouTube, so it explains a lot. I wasn't going for like a total realism back then, and also what I want to, I think that actually several of you pointed this out, that the roof of this building doesn't make any sense and it wouldn't just work in the real life, so I also want to change it. And yeah, and there's more changes about the second habitat that we will about to see. But yeah, here are our lovely penguins. They actually can use those caves, which is so cool. Okay, I also really don't like this steep thing that you have in here. I think this is so like unpractical and also a bit like dangerous for the guests. But yeah, this was actually cool that you can actually see those penguins both diving and also like using the land section of their exhibit. This was the first time that I ever created something like this, and I was so like proud of myself. But yeah, the habitat overall looks quite good. Like this is the second habitat that I ever created on YouTube, so it doesn't look that bad, but I think that we can do better in the future. And this habitat, I think that this is the most problematic out of a lot of habitats in the Elm Hill City Zoo. This is the African penguin habitat, and I have this amazing idea back then. I thought that this is amazing, to make like sort of two habitats and to allow the penguins to just swim like above the path and use the both sides. And I think that it doesn't make any sense. Like, you don't have something like that in real life worlds, and we want to aim for realism in this zoo, so for me it doesn't make any sense. So what I want to do is also completely rebuild those two sides, and of course one of them from this time will be for the African penguins, and we will actually open this up and do the outdoor exhibit for them as well, so they will have indoor and outdoors. And on this side we'll do the same thing for the little penguins, so we'll have the little penguins in here, and they also will get their outdoor side. So this is my big plan for the future. I don't know when I will be able to do it, but I will definitely do it once like in the future, before we'll finish this zoo, because I'm not a huge fan of this building. That's all. They also can use those little like caves in here. We have actually so many babies in this enclosure, but yeah, I don't know why this one is boxed actually. Maybe let's set him free. But yeah, those are our penguins. And if we will go out of the building, here we have some more exhibits. So we are about to see our California sea lion habitat that is in here. This is slightly inspired by the California sea lion exhibit in Central Park Zoo. So of course that one is much smaller. We've built something bigger because this is Planet Zoo. They need a lot of place to be able to swim. This habitat I quite like. I especially like the shelter that is in the back. Maybe let's change this. It was inspired by some of the some American zoo. I don't remember right now which one was that. The shape of the shelter. The rock formations are quite nice. I will maybe add some more details in the future, and of course add a lot of more decals, some smaller like I don't know how they are called, pebbles I wanted to say, and also maybe add some like puddles in here to make it look more realistic, and add some details in this on this pavement, and that will be simply it. And also here is the little audience with the educator talk. And in here we have a toilet, and this toilet is repeated once more from the different part of the zoo. I want to completely like, I don't know, move it or just delete it and build something else elsewhere, because this is the part for the little penguins, so they will have their outdoor part in here. So yeah, this is the big plan for the future. And in here also, of course, we can see some sea lions diving, which is amazing to see actually. It's been a while since I saw some animals diving in this game. Okay, but let's move on to maybe right now a little section in the zoo that I really love. In a second we'll able to see some big animals, but before that we will see some smaller ones, and I am talking about the South American section that we are about to check out. That is slowly growing in this area of the zoo. So in here we have the colored peccary, the anniversary animal from one of the anniversary updates, and I really love this enclosure. Like, there's this little like wall that they cannot cross, and that was a jump, and you like cannot see this because of this dense foliage, and this is what I wanted to achieve. And I also really like the shelter, and I like those animals like in general. Like, they are so cute and amazing. The model looked just amazing. So yeah, I really love those animals, and I'm so glad that they were added to Planet Zoo. So yeah, here's our first like South American animal, Next to it, we actually have the smaller one, and this is the armadillo. Oh, it is actually here. So yeah, we have like this little armadillo, like more dry enclosure with this like termite mound in the middle, and several like viewing opportunities for the guest. Oh, here's another one. They are so nice. They have their little burrows, and also of course they have an indoor area for the more colder months, with some hiding places and also heat lamps if it's too like cold for them. They can actually climb on this, so this is so nice. Okay, so moving on, another bigger habitat in this section is the mixed habitat for the maned wolves and how is it called? The giant anteaters. Yes, and this one also has the sponsor. Thank you, Alex Nave, for sponsoring this wonderful habitat. I really love it. I wanted to make it look like a grassland habitat, like with a lot of different like higher grasses and a little like natural pool in the middle. We can actually see the anteater going in the water. So cool. And here is another one, and I think that yes, in the back here is actually the maned wolf. So they actually get an interspecies enrichment from living with each other. Some people are still surprised by this, but the maned wolves, they are not as predatory as some people think. They would just hunt for smaller animals, and they also eat actually fruits and plants, so they wouldn't attack the armadillo. But yeah, I also built those little huts for them to sleep in, and if we'll continue this way, we can actually go inside of the colored peccary exhibit that is, or the shelter that is in here. So they have those little stalls for them to sleep in, and of course some backstage stuff for the keepers to prepare their food and to clean the exhibits. So let's go out right now. And let's follow actually this path. Here is the wildcat house. Here is where the lynx will be. I am very hopeful that Planet Zoo will add more South American animals in the next DLC, so I can add some to this section because there's not many left. I want to add a sloth somewhere in here for sure, with like indoor, I don't know, walk through jungle or anything. Of course, I will share more about this, my plans for the exhibits in the end of the video, but yeah, this is the exhibit for the maned wolves from this perspective, so we can see one right now, and oh, there's another one actually. So yeah, I really love this exhibit. It was actually a lot of work. I did it during the early access for this pack, the Grasslands Animal Pack. But yeah, I think it was totally worth it. In the future, this will be somehow connected, but right now it's not. So we have to just go through the bushes to go inside of the shelter for the maned wolves and the giant anteaters. So they have those stalls in here, one for, of course, one species, another one for the second one. And what we also have in here is a little like holding pen for them to be separated if there is a need for that, and a second holding pen in here because again we have two species, and also the third one actually. So a lot of opportunities for the keepers to maintain and to just manage this species, those two species actually in this habitat. And in here we have a little shelter for the armadillos. This is the entrance, I believe, yes, to the outside habitat, and some regular stuff. And this is, of course, we are on the roof, and there was also an entrance to the indoor habitat for the keepers. Right now, as I told you guys, we'll check out bigger animals. This is actually the back of the African elephant enclosure. I was just wondering for a second if I have the African or the Indian one in the zoo, but definitely the African. And this is the actually, how could I make it so nasty and so ugly? I just need to fix that. I haven't seen that for some reason. Yeah, this is the back of the large rhino and elephant house that we created actually long ago. And that I still want to add a lot of details in here and maybe also some details to the building alone, because I think that it could use some, but the building will stay. I must say that I still really like it. It is a bit inspired inside by the Copenhagen Zoo and their elephant and exhibit. The elephants are actually here, so this is so cool to see. This is their indoor like backstage that we are about to see, but this is their indoor exhibit in there. And we also have the white rhinos in here in this building as well. And they are actually inside, so we can have a look. And yeah, this is their exhibit with a matte like bath and those pillars in there. The rhinos, their horns are actually quite like sensitive to being like broken or cracked. So whenever there are those like walls or anything, you should have those things so they cannot go to cross. For example, if they are spooked or anything, so they cannot hit the things with the horn and just simply break it. Okay, maybe let's right now check out the backstage areas for those animals. And we actually don't have the access, but we'll just go through the wall because the keepers normally will enter here or through this gate. Here's actually some keeper huts, and the keepers use this door to enter. In here we have stalls or like those separation areas for them to sleep in. So this is how it looks, and of course this is their indoor area. And what we can also check out is the bigger area for the elephants. That I remember was quite a lot of work because I had to figure out how those normally work in zoos. Those are really always like elaborate, like I don't know, systems, and yeah, those animals are super dangerous. So the keepers shouldn't have the direct contact with them, and this is so crucial. If you want to build something realistic, this is still not like completely realistic. Of course, Planet Zoo is not realistic because the keepers are just entering to those habitats. But yeah, this is sort of what I could do when I was building it. And this habitat is also actually quite old. Make sure you have some baby elephants in the zoo. And yeah, those are those stalls for them where they can chill and spend the night, sleep. So normally the keepers will just use probably this passage in here, and yeah, here they can just enter their outdoor exhibit that we are about to see. So let's go there, and let's go back to the main path to see the outdoor exhibits for both the elephants and the rhinos. So we need to follow this path. I hope you guys are enjoying. I know that this tour will probably be so long, but the zoo is so big, and I also want to talk about each and every of those habitats, not to, just pass them and that's it. But yeah, I hope you are enjoying, and I hope that this is not too boring for you. Okay, so this is the outdoor exhibit for the rhinos, and I'm sort of debating on like recreating it or maybe rebuilding it slightly. Some people had some suggestions that maybe the elephant enclosure is a little bit too small for today's standards. So maybe what I will also do is just make this whole big building and the outdoor exhibits only for other elephants and move the rhinos somewhere. I still need to figure it out. If you guys have any ideas about this, any suggestions, definitely let me know in the comments. Of course, we can see like amazing rhino. This is actually such a cool picture. In here they have this artificial pool that they can use and this moat that they shouldn't be able to cross. And yeah, this is how their exhibit looks from here. And of course, we also have the one for the elephants. But what I also wanted to show you is that here we have actually the penguin house. And there's this education center in the back. And in here in the future, we'll have the outdoor pool for the African penguins. So I just cannot wait to build this. I think that it will look phenomenal in this spot. Okay, on this side we actually have the outdoor exhibit for the elephants. We can actually see the majestic male in here. It is so big and beautiful. But yeah, we have some cool actually tree guards that I created such a long time ago. And yeah, this is their exhibit. I think that For the city zoo, older city zoo, it is quite like big. But I recently saw, for example, exhibit for the Indian elephants in the Prague Zoo, and it was enormous. So I can see why some people say that this is too small. I actually had this like idea that I also don't like right now, of this little like pool for them that the guests can actually see while they are like playing in the water and diving and stuff. They are not diving in Planet Zoo, but the elephants in the real life, they are totally diving, but yeah, I don't know if I like the look of it. It looks a bit weird to me. Maybe we'll change also this in the future, we will see. But yeah, their exhibit is quite big. As I told you, this is also their mat like bath that they can use, and in here they actually can be like separated, so there is this big gate. And in here is also like this back exhibit that normally is open, but in case, for example, the male must be separated from the females and the babies, it can just be in here. This is something inspired by one of the exhibits that I saw in some zoo. I don't remember which one, but the elephants had a lot of greenery in their habitat, but it was all surrounded by those high fences. So I tried to recreate something like this. And yeah, we are back next to the armadillos. So let me now pause and bring back the rest of the animals. So the rhinos and the elephants sort of started our African section of the zoo, but we are about to see so much more and so much exhibits that I adore. So this is, for example, the exhibit for the Dama gazelles that we created not long ago, I think. And yeah, this side of the zoo has a lot of those white, like African architecture inspired buildings from North America, I think. It is all because again of the Berlin Zoo and their exhibits or their shelters for some of the ungulates in this game, and this is something that I decided to recreate. So this is the Dama gazelle with the moat and with this hot wire in here. I really love this exhibit, I must say. One of my favorites when it comes to all the ones for the ungulates that we did, because I think it looks quite realistic, and also the size is just right, and it is plain, but it is still quite interesting for an Dama gazelle habitat, I think. So yeah, moving on. We have, of course, more ungulates in this little part of the zoo. This was the Dama gazelle. We are about to see the scimitar horned oryx that is in here. But firstly, maybe let's enter to the backstage area in here, because in here we have 3 different shelters. The most interesting one, like I tried to basically recreate the shelter from one of the shelters from the Berlin Zoo. That one is originally for the gravy zebra, I think, and also the oryx or something. And in here we have the scimitar horned oryx living in here. This is the inside of the shelter. With a lot of stalls and some, of course, keeper things. Again, this was after the conservation pack was added, so I was really going in with those pieces because I loved them so much. In this side we have the backstage area for the Dama gazelles, so also some stalls for them. Actually, one is using it. So cool. And in here we have also one for the animal that we are about to see in the near future, like in several minutes. This is the Somali wild ass. So I love this animal so much. It is so beautiful. It almost looks real. Like the model of this animal is just amazing. Again, the horses in this game are beautiful, and I would even want to see more like Kiangs or I don't know, maybe Shetland ponies for the petting zoos. That would be amazing. So yeah, this is the shelter with some backstage props as well. Okay, so let's go back to the main path to see the scimitar horned oryx exhibit, and also see the biggest exhibit when it comes to the ungulates in this little area of the park that is back there. But yeah, firstly, here we have the exhibit for the scimitar horned oryx with a moat and with this little shelter that looks so impressive. It's been a while since I had a look at it, and I think it looks so magnificent. Like, I still love it so much. The Scimitar Horned Oryx is actually using the enrichment item, which is so amazing to see. Okay, so this was their exhibit, and in here we have this big, enormous shelter with the balcony, a very fancy thing for animals like the zebras and also the blue wildebeest. And in the back you can see the building that we will see actually later. This is the wetlands house, and I always love this view. The animals just and this very modern building in the back. So yeah, this shelter is also very inspired by one that is in the Berlin Zoo. We will check it out later. Yeah, I really love this. The animals have so many like different stalls inside. And yeah, the exhibit itself is quite nice. Again, a bit more plain, but this is what I wanted to have for those. And yeah, we have our Scimitar Horned Oryx like doing some animation. And in here is the outside part of the Somali Wild Ass exhibit with some custom feeders and this cool shelter that we have in here. And also some tree guards, this like shading structure for them so they can chill on if they chill in this if they don't want to be in the sun all the time. So yeah, those are our Somali Wild Asses. Their exhibit is quite spacious. And we are still continuing like passing next to our zebra exhibit. This is their little like water section where they can actually swim, which is so cool to see every time. And yeah, some info signs for the Somali Wild Ass and for the addax that we have next to them. And yeah, this exhibit is also so nice. I love it so much. You guys, actually a lot of you really loved it. That made me so happy because this is also one of my favorites in the entire zoo. This exhibit actually has two different sponsors, so thank you so much Marco and Andres Para for sponsoring our addax exhibits. As you guys can see, this just looks so nice. So yeah, that was the addax, and we can actually go first in here. Maybe we'll go and see the shelter for the what happened in here. Okay, I'll have to go back and fix this because this was definitely not here the last time that I checked it. We will go inside of this shelter right now. Maybe let's change the... Yeah, this looks perfect. Oh my god, I love this exhibit so much. Okay, so if we'll go use this gate in here, we can actually enter. In here, there's like a little office for some workers. So we have a desk, we have some paintings. This is all from the workshop, so huge thanks to those creators. Yeah, this is some like minor details because I was just bored and I wanted to add something to this building. And this is the back. I also wanted to like decorate it a bit. We have some blueprints. We have like a very big trash bin, and this is also a little separation area or a holding pen for those animals. In here we actually have like a storage or anything like sink and the hay for the animals and so on. And if we'll go back, here is the shelter for them. So we have a lot of different stalls. Are some animals inside? I don't think so. Yes, we have the zebras using it right now. So cool to see, with some sliding doors. And here are animals as well. Of course, I just had to be teleported on the roof and not in the like best place because we still have the second floor actually in this exhibit. So at least the game could teleport me there, but it decided not to. So yeah, this is their exhibit, and now I will try to... I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but here's also a second floor where you can actually enter this little balcony that we have in here. So cool. The view from here is very, very nice. This is of course not for the guests, but the keepers can actually use it, so it's nice. And in here we have some just, you know, little storage or some broken stuff or anything that didn't have a place, and they just decided to put it here and sort of forgot about those things, will we be able to go out, like down? No. So, okay, let's teleport out from this area and let's see some more exhibits. So yeah, that was like a little ungulate area. And in here, actually, we have something really nice. This is the exhibit for the porcupines, the African crested porcupine. That I just love. This is again, I think, in my top 10 habitats in the Elm Hill City Zoo. They look phenomenal in here. Of course, it is too small for them when it comes to the game requirements, but this rock formation in the back, the plants, this burrow that I incorporated in this like log looks so amazing. They can actually use it, as you guys can see. And yeah, this habitat is also inspired by different habitats for the porcupines, but this part, for example, here is inspired again by Berlin Zoo. So yeah, this is their little habitat. I also really like this detail of the staircase from this perspective. This habitat I think looks the best, and yeah, I'm so still proud of it. And next to the porcupines, we have also one of my favorite exhibits. Like, I really like this area of the zoo. I don't know why. Here's the amazing habitat for the addax that you can sort of like see through those trees. So the view from here is really nice. And on the other hand side, we have my favorite animal from the tropical pack. This is the red river hawk with a very muddy exhibit and this cool planter in the middle. They have a water section, they have those mud pits and like foraging box and everything that they need. So yeah, this habitat is also really nice. I must say that it must certainly be among my favorites in the zoo. I know that I am saying this about a lot of the habitats, but really, I love so many of them. We will go there later. This is our like wetland section, but I want to tie it in with the river hawks, with the wetland section, with the warhawk habitat that we'll build in here. So this is something for the future. But right now we are about to check out my favorite animal. I just couldn't wait for it to finally see the giraffes that we have in the Elm Hill City Zoo. So we have this like little elevated or the little hill that you have to walk in to see them. They are here. I am finally seeing them. So of course the giraffe is sort of like a logo of our channel, is the mascot of our channel, and is my personal favorite animal. I know that some of you don't like to choose favorites when it comes to animals, but there is something about giraffes that I just love so much. They're so beautiful to me and so majestic, and I also love their pattern. So yeah, this is the mixed habitat for the giraffes, for the Nyalas, and for the Thompson's gazelle. They have this big shelter that they can all use. That this entrance is meant for the giraffes, of course, and the antelopes have their entrances on the both sides of this building. We will see that all in the second, but in here, the guests can enter this like viewing balcony to have this amazing view for our little savannah that we actually have in the Elm Hill City Zoo. This color of the giraffe is also my favorite, by the way. Okay, so let's move on to see the inside of this building, but because the guests can actually enter here, maybe I chose the wrong side. You know what? Let's actually go this way because we will go in circles otherwise, and I don't want to do that. So maybe I should plan this tour a bit better. Okay, so we now will take this path. This is just a path in the forest, so there's a lot of greenery inside in here, but also we have this amazing view for this habitat from this side. There is a moat that the animals are not able to cross, as you guys can see. We have a really beautiful view for the giraffe right now. But continuing, we can also see some like holding pens for those smaller antelopes with the entrances to their exhibits. And if we will continue, there is the entrance to the giraffe house that I really like. We created this actually to celebrate the 10,000 subscribers on my channel. A lot of people were saying that, oh my god, we cannot believe that you still don't have giraffes in any of your zoos. So yeah, I finally did that for 10,000 subscribers. And right now we are almost on 35, so this is so incredible. Okay, so we have the toilets for the guests in here. I think we have some like keeper bill stuff, and of course in here we have this big hall that is inspired by Basel Zoo, if I remember correctly, from Switzerland. I really love those details. It was supposed to be wooden, but of course I used some like lime and plaster pieces for this. And yeah, those are the stalls for the giraffes in here, bigger ones, and on the both sides we have them for those smaller antelopes that also live in here. I just love this light in here with this entrance and stuff. It looks so good. And we also have the same things on the other side. We actually can see the Nyala using this. In the zoo, actually, they have the giraffes in here and also okapis, so a really cool mix. So yeah, unfortunately we cannot see any giraffes using it. It would be so cool, but okay, let's not wait because it is long enough. When it comes to this tour, it will be really long this time. Okay, when it comes to this side, I want to add here probably okapis and bongos. This is my plan. A lot of you I know that would like to see okapi in this game because I see those comments. You are requesting the okapi, so of course I want to add it, and I think that it will make sense to add them next to the giraffes and also build like a little more foresty area for them, for both them and the bongos. Oh, this is actually such a nice view in here for the giraffes with all those little antelopes next to the water section. Looks so nice. Okay, so here's our giraffe exhibit that we finally saw. And in here we have sort of like a, in here, a separated building that is just standing in there. When the Twilight Pack was actually released, I really wanted to build for the fruit bats that were added with with this pack. And I sort of knew that I want to have them in the African section, but I didn't know where, so I just put this building here in the middle of the zoo, and I decided that okay, I will just add some habitats. I will just make it work. So I will have to make it work, or maybe move it, we will see. But this is the outer part, like a little aviary for the fruit bats. I was so excited we are finally getting something that is flying, that I really wanted to build like this cage for them, or the aviary, so they can use the outside part as well. But if we'll enter this building, there's actually an indoor part as well for the guests, with some information signs about the bats. And in here, the guests can enter actually the bat cave, which is so cool. We can actually change the time of the day to night. And yeah, this is how you are supposed to just simply watch that, and how I envision it. But unfortunately, you know what happens with the light in Planet Zoo. You can never make it completely dark during the day, but I heard that in Planet Coaster you can actually do it. When it comes to Planet Coaster 2, you'll be able to make those pitch black rooms, which is so cool actually for those like more spooky rides and everything. So yeah, coming out of the bat exhibit, this is all the area that I'll talk about in the end of the video when we do some planning section. But let's go actually back to the wetlands part that we are about to see. Also in here will be 2 more habitats with those little like white African shelters for some animals that I will tell you later about. Okay, we are almost back next to our river hawks, and we are now about to enter this bridge, but I need to pause it. So this will be the last part of the tour. We are almost done, still several habitats to go, and we are about to enter our wetlands area. And in here we still have some African antelopes. And to me, the Nile lechwe that you can see in front of you is one of the most beautiful antelopes in the world. Especially the males are so amazing and so beautiful. This jet black coloration is just incredible. So yeah, this is their shelter. They like water. This is their habitat. They like water, and they have a big like natural water, like a pond or anything like this in here with some reeds and stuff. We will see their shelter later. And continuing through this bridge, we can also see the wild water buffaloes that live in here as well. They have this really cool detail of the mud bath in here. And yeah, very underappreciated animal. I don't see it much anywhere in your builds on YouTube or anywhere, but they are also so beautiful. And yeah, I also need to build for them quite more often in different builds and so on. I don't really know where, but I need to. We also have some babies, as you guys can see, so adorable. Okay, so let's move on. We have a statue of an animal that we are about to see. This is the first habitat of our wetlands house. So in here we have both the tapirs, the bear tapirs in the back, and we also have the capybara, and we actually have a baby tapir. So this is the mixed habitat for the tapirs and capybaras with an outdoor and an indoor section that we are about to see. So there's also this shaded structure for the guests to watch the animals from when, for example, it's raining or this is too much sun for them. And yeah, they have a lot of water that they can swim in, and quite a lush, like a dense exhibit, and also those taps that are especially for capybaras in here. I actually realized that I missed two shelters during this trip. So here is the shelter and the holding pen for the Red River Hawks. We can actually enter it, and yeah, this is the stalls for them. Simple, small for a pig like this. I think it is perfect. Some tools for the keepers, of course. And also here is another shelter for the porcupines. So yeah, they can spend their nights in here if they want to. They also have some places where they can hide, and this is basically how it all looks. So yeah, let's continue through here and let's go inside of the wetlands house. I really wish that Frontier would give us more like small water fowl or water birds, just as they did with the swans, because I really would like to add some ducks or anything in here in this particular area next to our wetlands house. We actually have the capybaras eating the watermelon. So this is our wetlands house. This is very like a modern, newer building that was built here in the zoo because the zoo was granted a platypus by a wealthy investor, and because of that we were able to build this amazing, blue, big and modern building. The Elm Hill City Zoo is the only zoo in Europe that has the platypus, so we are very honored by this. And yeah, this is how the building looks. It is actually inspired by a sauna building in Switzerland, so quite cool. The entrance is in here, and in the middle we have a platypus habitat. As you guys can see, I hope that we'll be able to find it. The platypus is really small in the game. Oh, here it is. Okay, we are so lucky. It is really small, but since building this habitat and since the platypus was actually added to the game, I was lucky enough to visit San Diego Safari Park, where I saw the platypus in person, and I was so honored to actually see this rare and bizarre looking animal, and they actually are so small. They are so tiny. I was so surprised by the size of this animal because I thought that they are a bit bigger. So basically I wanted to build like a riverbank for them in here, so this is what I went for. And if they will use those like land section, the guests also will get a very cool glimpse of them. On this hand side, well, on the right hand side, we have actually the indoor part for the tapirs and the capybaras. As you guys can see, this is where they would be held during the colder months. So they have a big water section and some tropical plants in here. In the back there we have some toilets for the guests and some cool info signs incorporated in this like green wall in here. And also we have the wetlands dining, which is the restaurant, and The tables are actually outside in here, so here the guests can eat the food that they will order inside. And what we also have in this building is a very cute and adorable animal, the small cloud otter. They are probably all outside, so they can use this like walkway to go outside, or they can go inside of the shelter in there. So we are about to see them, and as I told you in the like earlier part of the trip or the tour, I will probably swap them. So I will add the giant otters in here because this habitat is big and enormous for them, and I will add the Asian small-clawed otters to the wetlands, to the small mammal house later on. This is another view to the platypus exhibit. They actually have the burrow in here. And okay, let's right now go and see the outside exhibit for the otters and also the whole backstage area of this building. So if we'll turn here, we will see the underwater viewing for the otters. Let's change the time of the day a bit so we can see better. They should be somewhere here. There's quite a lot of them in this exhibit. I don't know where they are hiding, but probably somewhere in the bushes. I don't know, or maybe they all decided to go to sleep to the shelter. I hope that we'll be able to find them. So yeah, the guests can basically see their water section and this whole like underwater viewing, but they also can walk up those stairs, and in here they have a view for... Here you are stuck, but we were able to find you because of that probably. Yeah, they also can see their land section that they can use. Here's another one, like sleeping, look. So yeah, we actually have some otters in here. And there's also a little waterfall in here as well. Why not? Okay. Oh, here's actually one diving, look. This is so amazing. I just love the view of the diving animals in Planet Zoo. Always makes me so happy. Okay, if we'll go this way, actually, I don't remember where the path is. Somewhere probably here. I don't know. I don't remember. But we'll just go this way. Maybe I'll still have to connect it and stuff. Don't mind this. Don't look at this. But yeah, here is the backstage of the whole wetlands house. And here we can enter to the back of the building. Here are more otters sleeping. We actually have a little baby in here in this like shelter with some separation areas and stuff. If we'll go here, here's the entrance to the platypus exhibit with also a little platypus backstage area, and the platypus is actually sleeping in here. So nice to see that. And if we'll go through this corridor, we'll go to the backstage of the capybaras and the tapirs. And they are just using it as they're supposed to be using, because this side was meant to be for tapirs and this one side is supposed to be for the capybaras. Okay, let's go out because we missed the barn or the shelter for the wild water buffaloes and the Nile lechways that is somewhere in here. Oh, I almost had it. We need to just quickly run through here and we will find it for sure. Sorry for that. Maybe I should just teleport us to the shelter, but okay. So in here we have the shelter for the wild buffaloes. This is just a big one building connected. So if we'll enter through here, you can see those stalls for those animals, a bit more like sturdy and solid because they are quite strong, so they can destroy things that are not too heavy duty. So yeah, this is the part for the buffaloes, and we also have the second part for the Nile lechways that is in here. They are all outside probably. You can see one of them just outside. So yeah, this is the shelter. Let's maybe now just go through the exhibit, why not? Just to be quicker. Okay, I don't know if we can make it. We will try. Yes, okay. Amazing. And right now we are about to see our little bird section, little wetlands and bird section, because they are both some water birds, but also peafowls. And it will be so nice to actually have more birds in here. But Plant Zoo, maybe you can do something about this. I don't know. We will see in the next update. So on the right hand side, we have the shelter for the flamingos, as you guys can see. So here they'll be probably during some colder months, and during the warmer months they have this entire outside section to themselves with this really nice entrance in here. And yeah, this is very like overgrown and lush with a lot of different plants, and they have a really beautiful water section in here with the amazing view actually from this spot. Oh yeah, I really love this view in here. Just look at it. Maybe let's adjust the light a bit better. Yeah, I think that this is the best one. Oh yeah, this is just something that I wanted to achieve, and I really, really love this exhibit. Okay, but we sort of missed our red crown cranes. And I built this aviary during my first ever early access to any of the DLCs. So I was so happy and so excited. I wanted to build something special. And I really love this exhibit so much to this day. I have a soft spot for this DLC, the Wetlands Pack, because of the early access. Back then it was actually quite more difficult, I feel like, to get an early access. You had to have at least like a couple of thousand subscribers. Right now Frontier is not as strict. It is giving it to more people, which is like super amazing for them. I would be so like happy if I were those people, but it makes a bigger competition for us, which is good. The competition is always nice because we are pushing ourselves to make better videos. Okay, but more about the habitat. So this is the typical aviary for the red crown cranes, and it has those elevated like water sections that are on the different levels, which I think is so cool. In here they actually have this enrichment items, the item that they can use. And yeah, we will also see the shelter a bit later, but this is the viewing like house or viewing building for our guests. Okay, so let's go out from here. We are almost done actually with the tour. Oh my god. If we'll go here and if we'll turn left, we'll see the peafowl aviary in here. So there's a lot of peafowls inside, and I can imagine that inside we can actually have some more flying birds, but of course we don't have them in Planet Zoo. But if we'll use our imagination, I could see there like flying birds in this aviary. That would be so cool. In a real life, peafowls will probably use things like that, like those perches. Unfortunately, in Planet Zoo they don't use it. But yeah, this is their little aviary, and if we'll go through here, we can actually go to the buildings both for the peafowls and for the cranes. So this is the peafowl area. This is one of the first backstage areas that I've actually created. So so cool. Yeah, it's been a while. And here's a big like indoor part for them with little coops to just, you know, lay eggs and stuff, and some perches for them to sleep on. And if we'll continue this way, here is the backstage area for the red crown cranes, with again a little water section. There used to be water in here, but yeah, it can also be drained. Why not? They are now spending their time outside, so they don't need that. A little separation area as well, and it was purchased for them to sleep, and some just stuff for the keepers. Okay, let's go back to the main path to see actually the last 3 exhibits in something that I am calling the desert house. The desert house is just next to the dromedary camels that we saw at the very beginning of the trip. So we did a big circle. This is actually the entrance area in here. So yeah, we did a whole circle of the entire zoo. But still, there's something more to come. In here we have the outdoor part of the meerkat exhibit. I will admit that those are not my best exhibits, but those are some of the first ones that I created. The meerkat exhibit from the Desert Adventure Park is so much better, but I will definitely do something about this, and I will definitely add some details to those exhibits. I don't want to rebuild them fully, but maybe adding some, I don't know, small decals and stuff, and also changing the backgrounds of the habitat would make it look a bit better. So yeah, we have the meerkats in here. They also have a heat lamp, and yeah, this is their exhibit. I wanted to give them some places where they can climb on because they like to do it. And also in here we have the fennec foxes with a little cave that they can use. Also another heat lamp. And yeah, this is the baskets that they can actually, in the real life, they could sleep in and hide in. But yeah, this is their outside area. Next to the desert house, we actually have a little playground that I created. Probably right now I will just do it completely different, but back then we didn't have all those fancy pieces that we have right now. But we can actually enter the desert house. Back then I was all about a lot of, info signs, as you guys can see. Maybe right now I am not a huge fan of this design. I would probably do something myself. But yeah, I was adding a lot of them. Is there actually somewhere something in here? No, it's not. Okay. So we have here also as well ungulate, a gemsbok. So the guests can actually have a sneak peek inside of their little shelter that they have in here. Actually, I think that we can enter through this. Yeah, sort of like this is just a keeper hut in here, nothing too special. But yeah, this is the indoor part for the fennec foxes. I wanted to make it a bit theme, like deserty, and also with those like vases and stuff. So it sort of looks like more ancient Egypt or anything. So yeah, this is their indoor part, and this is the outdoor part actually for the gemsbok that you can see in here. Also, I really like this elevation and those things that we were using back then. I was so like revolutionary. Oh my god. So yeah, this is the gemsbok, and this is the indoor part for the meerkats. They also have something to climb on, and they have those little like caves where they can sleep. Actually, what happened here? Like, come on, I need to fix that. Oh my god. In here we can go outside of the building and have a little like side view for the gemsbok. This is also another very underappreciated animal. Like, I don't see it anywhere in posts or in videos. Like, you guys are just simply not building for them, and they are amazing. Just look at them. And actually, they are in a lot of zoos around the world, so this is something also to keep in mind. I actually did here like an implied exhibit for the jerboas, because why not? They are also amazing. And we don't have any of those small little mammals in the game actually. Okay, and this is basically all when it comes to the trip. Let me just go back to the entrance plaza, and I will meet you guys in a second to show you the zoo from the above, and also to share with you my plans for this series. So see you in a bit. This is how the Elm Hill City Zoo looks from the above, so let's go quickly everything that we saw during the trip. So if you were, for example, lost, you can now try to find yourself with all those habitats and stuff. So here's the entrance with the main plaza. We went sort of there, so we saw the management building, we saw the llamas, the babirusas, all the ungulates in here. Here's the insect house. We followed this path to the reptile house, and here were the pheasants, wolverines, deers, boars, like raccoons. Here were the fallow deers and also some mountain goats. We have here the Przewalski wild horse. Here are all the canids, so the wolves, dingoes, and the dolls in here. Here was the badger. Here's the summer exhibit for the koalas. Here we have the beavers and the prairie dogs. Here's a big lake for the moose. We also have the small mammal house in here and the binturongs next to them. In here we have our Australian section with the wonders of Oceania in this building. This is of course our wildcat house with all the outside exhibits and the swan pond in here, and also a beginning of our petting zoo in here as well. Here is the penguin building that we are about to rebuild, the seals, the elephants and the rhinos. In here we have our small South American section that we will really want to expand in the future. Here is the bat house and the African area of the zoo. So this is all African animals, maybe not here, but here is the African animals. So we have the ungulates in here in this like North American village or anything. Here are the giraffes and the antelopes. We have the red river hawks in here with the porcupines. Here's the wetlands section, so the Nile lechways, the wild water buffaloes, the wetlands house, the birds, so there's cranes, peafowls and the flamingos. And this is the desert house and the dromedary camel exhibit. So this is basically all. Now you should see something that you guys were probably waiting for. This is the list of all the animals that I still want to add to the zoo. There are 42 species that we are still adding to the Elm Hill City Zoo, so as you guys can see, there will be quite a lot of new episodes. I hope that my PC will allow me to build in this zoo, but the FPS is quite nice right now. The performance isn't that bad, so we should be able to make it, I think. So yeah, firstly we have the African section that I really want to finish. There we have animals like African wild dogs, bongos and okapis that I already mentioned during the tour, the ostrich, warhogs. I want to build a big house for the hippopotamus and the pygmy hippo. I also really want to add the striped hyena, the sable antelope and the springboks. Then a lot of you really want to see the primates in this zoo, and of course we are about to build the entire primate section. There will be animals like chimpanzees, orangutans, macaques, mandrills, siamangs, largibbons and Colombian white-faced capuchin monkeys. I also want to build something like a Madagascar house somewhere in the zoo with all the species of lemurs, with the fossa and also the Aldabra giant tortoise. That is from the Seychelles, which are next to Madagascar, so I hope that it will make sense as well. We of course have our petting zoo that is still not finished, and in there I want to add the American standard donkey, Highlands cattle, Tamworth pig, alpaca, and move the llama, just as I told you during the trip. And we also have something like an Asian rainforest that will be a big building, like the walk through jungle for the guests. This is something that I have in my head for the zoo. In this building we'll have the Malayan tapir, the southern cassowary, the spectacled flying fox, the Indian rhino and the sun bear. And this is something that I am debating on, because I am sort of thinking about making maybe an Asian rainforest, or maybe something more like an Javan or Indonesian. Yeah, probably Indonesian will be the best one. Rainforest, and then I'll probably have to move the Indian rhino out of it and put it somewhere else in the zoo. And then what I also can do is add to the, for example, the orangutan to this building as well. That would be nice. So this is something that I'm sort of debating on. Also the sun bear, I decided to move it from the bear section that I will mention in a second to this rainforest house or anything. I think that this could also work so well. Then we have a bear section. Also, a lot of you are asking for bear exhibits. We will for sure add them. So we'll have the Formosan black bear, we'll have the grizzly bear, we'll have the polar bear, and we'll have the sloth bear as well in the zoo. And then we have some other animals that are not fitting into those categories, and I still want to add them somewhere like on the map. So we'll have the Eurasian lynx, we'll have the red kangaroo in the Australian section, we'll have the little penguins added to the penguin house, we'll have the Komodo dragon next to the reptile house, and we'll also have somewhere in the zoo the takin and the brown-throated sloth. As you guys can see, those are most of the animals in Planet Zoo, but those are definitely not all of them. And I have some reasons why I don't want to add, for example, animals like the American bison. I don't think it really makes sense for the European zoo, and also we have the visons already. I am also not a huge fan of the, for example, bonobo model. I don't think that the zoo needs, for example, gorillas if we have all of those different primates and so on. So yeah, there's some animals that we will skip, but definitely will add most of them to the Planet Zoo. And now, when it comes to the map, where I see those things. So we of course have our African section that may need to be finished. We'll have probably bongos and okapis somewhere here. We will have the ostrich probably here with the sable antelopes and the springboks. In here, I think I will add the striped hyenas and the African wild dogs. And I still need to find a place for the hippopotamus and the pygmy hippos. This will probably be somewhere here. I will build a big house for them. And of course the warhawk will go in this spot in here. When it comes to the primate section, I think I want to build it somewhere here, be like behind the wildcat house, and this is because I also want to have an additional entrance to the zoo somewhere here. So it will be actually nice to go walk in and see the primates right away. I don't think I want to build like a primate house and have them all in one building. I want to build like different islands for them, different exhibits that will not be maybe connected, but will also have like different indoor and outdoor parts and stuff. When it comes to the bears, for example, I think that I want to add them somewhere here. So this will be our bear section. The Asian rainforest or the Indonesian rainforest, we will see, will probably be located somewhere here, like besides the primates. So this is my plan. And we also have petting zoo, of course, that will be somewhere here next to this entrance that we are about to build, and the other animals were just such as lynx. The lynx will be added, of course, here. The red kangaroo somewhere here next to the Australian animals. The little penguin to the penguin house in here. The Komodo dragon, here is the space saved for it. The takin, I don't know, maybe somewhere here next to the bears, like to connect those areas a bit. And the brown-throated sloth, I want to build like an indoor jungle for it, like a smaller building with maybe some implied birds or anything, and it will be added somewhere in this section in here. Besides that, of course, what I want to do is sort of like finish all the empty bits of the zoo and add things like fences, like the general fence of the fence of the zoo, and also add some like shells on the buildings, like on the parameter of the map, just to make it look like more like a city zoo. Not like this right now, but this is something that I will do later during our journey of the Elm Hill City Zoo, not to waste the piece count for those things. And also I want to add restaurants and some shops to this whole zoo, some guest sections like picnic areas and stuff, but this is also something that we'll do at the very end. At first we are of course focusing on the animals. Okay, and I think that this is actually all when it comes to the planning section and to the trip or the tour of the entire zoo. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I know that it has been probably a very long one, but you really wanted to see all the backstage areas and all the buildings and everything, so I did just that. My throat is so hurting right now, and yeah, I cannot wait to start another season of the Elm Hill City Zoo and start building somewhere like else now that the whole reptile house is already done. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you like to join me on this journey of building this zoo, definitely click the subscribe down button if you haven't already. Ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I am uploading a new Elm Hill City Zoo video. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and of course leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about the zoo. Tell me what has been your favorite enclosure in the zoo or the area in the zoo, and tell me what you think about the plans for this series. Maybe you have some suggestions. Those are also always very welcome, so you are welcome to give me some suggestions about the future projects in the zoo. I just really love to hear them and read them and everything. So thank you guys so much for participating in this series. Thank you so much for being so excited for this. This really means the world to me, and I know that without this series I wouldn't be where I am on YouTube right now, so I am so thankful to you, and I just love this little zoo that we have in front of us. So thank you again, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!